Alrighty then. It looks like we are live. There's a little bit of a delay on the YouTube thing, so I'm just waiting for that to officially go live. And there we go. We're officially live. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday, and welcome to another episode of RNG Recap, the weekly recap show. And joining me once again is Mr. JM. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good.
Yes. Very short and sweet, just like how he likes it.
Quite so.
Like we did last week, like I said before, just as a reminder, just one more time, this show is going to be basically kind of always going to be showing off what video game pickups we've had, or other pickups in general for our collections. We're also going to be talking about what video games we're playing, showing off some trailers, news stories, and finally finishing off with a big topic of discussion. But besides that, everyone, we're going to get right into this. And Mr. JM, what have you been playing this week?
So last time we spoke, I said that I was playing through Cyberpunk. I finished it this week.
Wow.
It's not very good. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, you know those games that have like a very nihilistic tone to them. And they have you make this like big moral decision at the end. And this game decided to do what like a lot of kind of just like grimdark shit likes to do, which is give you an extra little shiv in the gut on your way out. And I'm like, there's no fucking point to this. Like, I already made the big fuck you decision. That's, doing the whole, like, very kind of just, like sci-fi corpo bullshit.
Yeah.
And they're just like, yeah, also, no, like, even though you did what you were supposed to do, you're still going to die in half a year. So have fun. And I'm like, oh, good. So basically everything I did was for nothing. That's nice. Thank you. And it makes you feel like you like colossally wasted your time. And honestly, that's kind of what this game felt like to me. Like I felt like I wasted my time because I never felt compelled to really do anything except for like the Pan Am storyline, because that actually felt like it had stakes and actual character. Everything else, I'm like, the only thing that's interesting here is very like pissy Keanu Reeves. And even then, it's not even about like the character itself. It's just the fact that it's Keanu Reeves saying fuck a lot, which is kind of funny. But it just, I don't know. I feel like I'll eventually buy the game physically for my collection, but I doubt that I'll ever really play the DLC with any sense of urgency or at all, frankly, because it doesn't feel like the game actually earned my time. It's, I don't know, man. There was so much like hype around that game, and I'm just so disappointed with it.
Well, I do find that funny because a lot of games journalists and players, when the DLC dropped, said it was their game of the year. Off the top of my head, even though he's kind of like a spurg online, Paul Tassi was like really pounding the hammer with it, as well as Gene Park as well. I remember those two in particular.
Yeah, and that's the sentiment that I've heard pretty much across the board, that it basically it maybe it doesn't fix everything, but it gives the game new life in a way that makes people kind of more forgiving of it. But I don't know about you, but DLC have to earn, like, the base game has to earn my time, and the DLCs for games have to earn more of my, like, they have to earn it by the base game being good enough to where I want to spend more time in the game and go into the DLC. And I just don't feel like the game earned my time. Like, I beat it because I'm stubborn, not because I wanted to.
I can relate to that, but I've never found CD Projekt Red games to be that amazing in general.
I feel that The Witcher 3 gets a little overvalued, but I still think the game is fantastic. You know, the problem is that its ending system is really garbage, and I was more into Geralt's relationships, like with his friends and with his surrogate daughter, like than I was with the entirety of the plot and the world around it. Like the world was beautiful and well fleshed out, and there's a ton of stuff you can do. I'm going to be honest, I got bored with a lot of the side content very quickly, and but that happened. But to the game's defense, that happens to me with a lot of sandboxes. Like even with you know games like GTA, for example, which are basically for me just kind of fuck about games where I just kind of just mess about and steal shit and shoot people. It, you know, there's just tons of things to do, but none of it just never really connects with me. And Cyberpunk was like the worst of it, because I literally only did like a couple of side missions, and I wanted to do like the Johnny Silverhand side missions, but one of the missions glitched out on me, and I went, oh okay, and then I just went about my business. I didn't like I tried to fix the bug, but once I realized it really wasn't going anywhere, I just kind of immediately lost interest. And that seems to be just a running theme with that game, is constantly losing interest. And luckily the next game that I played was much better, and I'm still playing it, but it's so much better, and that's Yakuza 0. I am very much happy with that game. It's so much fun.
Yes, join the club, brother.
I don't know if I'll join the club, but I am having a lot of fun with this game, particularly as I told you, I got very addicted to the Cabaret Club minigame for some reason. That it's basically a resource management sim.
Yep.
And that scratched an itch. And I was playing it, getting an ungodly amount of money, and I'm like, it's like, what am I gonna do with this? And I basically just made Majima overpowered to the point where playing as Kiryu now is actually pissing me off. Because I'm so used to how Majima works and how broken he was. Now that Kiryu, who is frankly neglected in the upgrade department, I'm actually getting very pissed playing as him. And now I'm pretty much exclusively doing the real estate minigame in order to make sure that I can get enough money quickly to where I can make him not shit.
I'm very excited because in December Yakuza 0 the director's cut comes out, so I got that coming, so looking forward to replaying that to see the extra stuff.
So what is the extra stuff? Is it like is it kind of like what's happening with like Kiwami 3, or is it just like basic DLC?
I think it's just extra cutscenes and more multiplayer stuff off the top of my head. I didn't look too much into it.
Oh, well, then if that's the case, I'll wait till it's a little cheaper then, because I don't give a shit about the multiplayer stuff, and if it's just a few extra cutscenes, I can watch that on YouTube. Like, I'm not super dedicated to this game to the point where I'm like, I have to get this day one and then replay it. That's not happening.
Right.
But I will say that I really respect how much effort they put into like the mini games for this game, where there's so much extra content to do. It's pretty much the opposite of Cyberpunk, where I'm actually having so much fun with the side content that I actually don't give a fuck about the main story right now.
Yeah, that's every Yakuza game though. The one thing you're gonna learn right away from all these Yakuza games once you start playing them is that they are built not necessarily to waste your time, but to constantly keep you engaged in the gameplay. It's not like the boring, say for example, side quests that like are kind of go here, go there. It's more rewarding. It's like here's a side story where you just find this person down on their luck fishing, and now you're fighting a room full of greased up, half naked Japanese men. Why? Don't know, but this is what we're doing now, or something like that, you know. Plus, on top of that, with all the like, say for example, the other mini games they put in there, like mahjong, pool, darts, bowling.
Pool pisses me off. I'm just gonna say that right now. I fucking hate it. Like I hate it with every fiber of my being because I just get absolutely shit stomped by would-be strippers, and it pisses me off so much.
Yeah, and on top of that too, like I said, they got like in Yakuza 0, they also have the mini slot car racing as well, where you can
I haven't done that yet.
Oh, that is so addicting too, man. Especially because they get like really into it. Where it's like if your car is going too fast, you gotta like smash the like X button really quickly just to keep you on the track and all that stuff. Like it's wild, man. Go on.
The one thing that I will say that I don't like about two particular mini games, which is basically like we have DDR at home and the karaoke mini games, is with how wacky the mechanics are with those, and basically, the karaoke one's basically just a rhythm game. Yeah. Is I have to hyper focus so much on the basic, like the rhythm portion of it. I don't get to see the absolutely fucking stupid like visuals behind it.
Yeah.
And I don't get to enjoy it as much. Whereas with with the like the real estate mini game and the cabaret club, I at least like I can fully focus on it and not feel like I'm missing anything.
I feel you. But I love the karaoke, man.
Club Moon can eat a dick, by the way. I fucking hate I hate that fight where they're just like, oh yeah, all of those guests, they're mine now. I tismed very hard when that shit started. I was like,
Also, for answer some of your questions, because I know Ando actually played the director's cut. He says director cut adds some new cutscenes, allows you to save anywhere, and a new multiplayer mode. That's about it, aside from adding an English dub.
I don't care about the English dub. The save anywhere, that is something that I really, really wanted. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know how you feel about static save points. I fucking hate them.
So I play on Xbox mostly, and because of quick save or whatever that one is, quick resume, I just turn off my thing and just boot it back up right where I left off.
Sometimes that has failed on me, so I don't trust it.
It's only failed on me for some games, but Yakuza 5 is the current one I'm playing. I've had that thing in like quick resume for months at the time and have no issues with it.
Yeah, I hate static save points, especially in modern games.
Yeah.
I understand that it's kind of a stylistic choice now more than a requirement like it was on like, for say, for example, the PS1 version of Tomb Raider. Like it's not a requirement that you need for hardware anymore.
Yeah.
But I just think it's one of those things where it's just a good quality of life to just let me save wherever. Like you don't need to, force me to run to a fucking phone booth in order to save. It's kind of a pain in the ass.
And I get that, but also to be fair, these games were originally PS2 games.
Yeah, Yakuza 0 was not.
I know, but they kind of just carried that DNA over,
I don't buy that excuse, but I get it.
Well, it's in every other game, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hate it personally, and it's not just with Yakuza. I just hate it with I love Final Fantasy X. I fucking hate that I still have to save at specific spots. I don't like it.
Yeah, especially with like older JRPGs. Like nothing's worse than like you have to run like a 3-hour gauntlet and you can't save, and then you die, and then you wasted 3 hours of your life.
Oh yeah, I just sometimes I've literally just gotten up and done other things.
Oh yeah, that happened to me with Skies of Arcadia for the Dreamcast, where it's like it takes so long to find a save point, and then all of a sudden I died, and then I'm like, well, fuck me, I guess. There goes 3 hours of my life.
Or when it's like fully out of your control, like there's a power surge, and then boop, console's off, and you're like, all right, now I'm mad.
Oh yeah.
But no, but I'm gonna this as I told you before, I think that the Yakuza stories are fucking stupid, but I love them. Like, it's an overly dramatic crime soap opera, and it's hilarious to me. I have to say, after about it took probably until like chapter 9 or so,
9.
which is not great, but after chapter like 9, like I really got into the story. You know, it shouldn't have taken that long, but to be fair, Kiryu's story is a very slow burn.
Yeah.
As opposed to Majima's is much more kind of quick.
Yeah.
And, you know, immediate with the nonsense. But now that they're starting to meld together, because I think I'm on chapter 14 now of like 17. So
you're getting close.
I'm getting close to the end game, and I'm having a lot of fun. And I want to continue the story, but I understand that I need money and in order to upgrade my character. So I'm standing put for probably the next few days to make Kiryu not garbage, and so I can, not get absolutely shit stomped by random thugs in the street who I can't escape from, because once they catch me, I can't actually flee the fight, which pisses me off.
Yeah.
That mechanic I'm not a fan of, but I get it. But it's a pain in the ass when I get knocked on my ass, and then as soon as I get up, I get dick punched and knocked on my ass again. And this cycle keeps continuing until I pull out a fucking katana and start cutting people to make them go away.
Well, you know, that's like a metaphor for life. You're getting dick punched until you pull out a katana and start slicing bitches, right?
Yeah, it's like I'm very under-leveled because I kept pulling bullshit out of my ass, like when I when I was playing as Kiryu, because for some reason I was winning fights I really shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Like Kuze should have been absolutely just destroying me, and I ended up just somehow pulling it out, like with mostly heavy consumption of health items.
Like a real gamer.
Yep. And
the old Skyrim method.
Yeah, and it prevented me from spending the time I needed to actually, make it, feasible to, upgrade him. But now that I'm kind of very far into the real estate thing, like I'm actually getting money very fast, but unfortunately most of it's just going into buying yet more fucking properties. So hopefully once I get to the end game of that sub story, I can actually, start using it on Kiryu himself.
Right on. Yeah, that's also Yakuza 0 has the Mr. Millionaire fights, right? The big buff guys that beat your ass, right?
Yeah, but I kind of avoid them because they shit stomped me every time I bumped into them, and
Coward.
I just don't feel like dealing with them.
Coward.
Yes, very much so. And I've gotten to the point of the game where they're just not financially viable anymore, because they only have like 7 to 10 million, and I'm like, well, most of my upgrades are at minimum like 50 now. So they're not useful for that level of funds.
Right on. Okay, cool. You got any more games you'd like to talk about, or nah?
That's really pretty much all I've been playing. Like it's taken up a substantial amount of my time. I don't know what I'm going to play after this is done. I may jump immediately to Kiwami 1, or I may take a break and try to play something else.
Right on, right on. Well, I'm happy that you're enjoying Yakuza 0. Always makes me very happy when people become fans of games I like. So glad you're having a good time with it for sure.
It is quite good.
And then else here, Mr. Ando checks in and says, Mr. Shakedown grinding strategy takes a while to set up, but really pays off. Did it during my DC playthrough, and it shaved a good bit off real estate. So maybe consider.
Maybe when maybe when Kiryu isn't, fucking shit anymore. Because that right now that is my bottleneck, is that Kiryu is easily knocked down and shit stomped. So I kind of need to either get good at the fighting mechanic, which is not happening, or I spend enough money to where he's not shit, which is a nice metaphor for life.
Yeah, sums it up perfectly if you ask me. All right. As for me, I've been playing my continued grind of Yakuza 5. I won't get into too much of that one for you, just not to spoil it, but the story's definitely got more intriguing, as I said last week. So looking forward to playing more of that. I think I'm like at the very end, Mr. Ando said, so hopefully I'll be done with that. Find it very weird that they suddenly changed over to like a completely new character out of random. So we'll have to see if I like him or not. Besides that, still grinding my way through Pokemon Moon as well for the challenge there to try to beat all the Pokemon games, especially because next week Pokemon ZA comes out. So that's going to be taking up a lot of my time. So I think I'm on to almost the final island trials. So hopefully I'll have that probably beat by this week. And also this week, I fell back in love with RTS games, and I've been playing the campaign right now for Age of Mythology because they just had a massive sale of all the Age of Mythology stuff on Xbox not too long ago with the new DLC campaigns that they added to it, the Chinese and the Japanese storylines as well. So I can't wait to get into those, but I'm still beating the base set story with Arcantos, making his way through the mystical worlds of ancient Greece, Egypt, and ironically enough, the Nordics. So that I'm almost at the Nordic part of the campaign. So getting close to being done with that. I want to just say this right now. World's Edge, the studio that they basically revived to be the new Ensemble Studios, has done an absolute amazing job with all these RTS games from Age of Empires to Age of Mythology. So I'm very happy to see that the studio, I should say, has continued to not only preserve a lot of these old games and give them a nice fresh coat of paint and everything else like that, but also continue to expand them with new DLCs and stories and campaigns and stuff like that. I don't know if you saw this last week or not, JM, but they're going to add Alexander the Great campaign now to Age of Empires, which I'm
not an RTS player, so I had no idea.
Well, I didn't know if you saw it or not. That's all.
Yeah, healthy to assume that I haven't.
Well, I just
or seen any gaming news for that matter.
Well, I just want to say that I thought that was really cool and out of the blue. And another thing too is they also added the first game, Age of Empires, to Age of Empires 2 as its own DLC expansion. So I thought that was kind of cool as well. But that's all I have to say for the games I've been playing. Not really too much in detail there. If you have Game Pass, go check out a lot of these games because I think some of them are still on Game Pass. I don't think the Yakuza games are, but the Yakuza games keep going on sale as well. VGP just had another 6-pack sale or 7-pack sale of all their games again. So go check those out. Plus the remakes, quote unquote, the next gen updates will be dropping in December for everything as well. So if you are looking to pick those up again, with 60 FPS performance, I would say go check those ones out as well. Alrighty then. Now we're going to get over to the pickup side of it. And why am I not getting the full screen here? Oop, here we go. There we go. Sorry. And I'm going to start showing off my stuff because you, Mr. JM, you said you only had one thing. So I'm going to kind of go through my stuff as well here.
Yep.
So first things first is I've been slowly collecting amiibos. So I have 2 amiibo pickups to show off right now. I got the Koopa Troopa amiibo.
Wasn't that the one that was like $5 on Amazon?
Yeah, that's the only reason why I picked him up. I do like his design. And plus, I do like a good deal. So $5. I don't have this one, so he's going to look really good in my collection. And then the other one I picked up, this was given to me by a friend of mine because I'm taking him up north to Wisconsin tomorrow. So my payment was he found a Detective Pikachu amiibo that he had in like his in his car that apparently he forgot about for, I think, ever. Look at how bad of condition this is in. It's all beat up in that, but the Pikachu is still good.
Do you take them out of the box or you leave them in?
Some of them I keep in the box. Like I only think I have 4 that are still in the box, and 2 of them are the Xenoblade ones. So,
Okay.
so I think it's the Pyra and the Mithra, and then the other 2 from Xenoblade 3. But this one's coming out of the box once this is done. This one's falling apart. This is not a good box one. But I've been wanting this one for a while, and my buddy was like, "I think I got the Pikachu just like randomly in his car." So I got a Detective Pikachu amiibo that I've been desperately wanting, so I'm so happy to get that one. Another thing too is my car battery died last week, so I had to go to Costco, and then this was the last one at Costco. The Game Boy, the Lego Game Boy. It was like a sign from God, I think. This has been basically sold out everywhere that I go to, and restocks are getting, faster. They're putting them out faster. Eventually, they will taper off. But Costco, this was the last one in stock at my local Costco that I went to. And Costco had it for $12 off. So I said, well, I'll pick it up because I like saving money. So got the little Lego Game Boy game. Next up is a game I forgot to show off last week, but I also picked this up last week, is Final Fantasy Tactics for the Switch. I've been hearing really good things about this, especially from friends of the show like Mr. Seth, aka DJ Axis. So looking forward to playing this. I've heard nothing but good reviews about it. Are you interested in this game at all, Mr. Jam?
I'm interested, but I never played it, so I haven't been like super super in need of it. Like I'm probably just gonna wait a little while.
Yeah, I think the only reason I picked this up is because this is like the Amazon exclusive one. So like inside of this is going to be a little poster as well.
Yeah, I was probably just gonna get it on PS5 because I don't know. I just don't like playing games on my Switch. I don't know what it is. It's something about it just bugs me.
I don't blame you, but now that I've gotten a Switch 2, like it's made a lot of these older games more tolerable to play because of the hardware.
It's not even the hardware with me, but for some reason, like whenever I just think about like, oh, I could play like Mario and Luigi Brothership or whatever, like games that I have on the Switch that I want to play, and I just think to myself, I'd rather just play like anything else than turn that thing on. I don't know what it is. Like something about Nintendo consoles just don't speak to me. Like I have a terrible track record with playing things on them.
I understand that a little bit. I'm like that with the Wii. All right. Next up, I got a couple games from the Amazon Prime days. One of them was the Mega Man 10th Anniversary Collection. This one was a interesting one because this is a still sealed copy for the PS2, and it was only $10. I think it was sold like secondhand. So I was like, well, I don't have this one for my collection. It's only $10. I'll add it to my collection. Even though I think I own it like 7,000 times on other things, but I felt this was fun to just have.
It's Amazon's weird with retro games sometimes. Like they just randomly pop up for like $10. Like that happened to me with like Final Fantasy Origins and Chrono Cross like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Like I bought them for $10 a piece and just kept them sealed because I'm like I can just emulate these.
Right, exactly. Next up was the other game I bought through the Amazon Prime sales, and it's called Adventure Bar Stories. This one looked very interesting because it is a JRPG, but it's a JRPG where you run a restaurant and you level up from like learning how to cook food, and then you go into the wild and battle creatures and stuff like that. That was like the Spark Notes version of it. It was only like $15. So I said, well, it's only $15 and this looks interesting. It looks very weeb happy and everything else like that. PM Studios is one that kind of like is hit or miss depending on the games you put out. But I think we've all seen the art style like this before for many other games, especially if you're a big Vita collector. You probably have at least seen one of these type of games out there before. And then last but not least, before we switched over to Mr. JM, is I have decided that I'm going to pick up your favorite video game series.
No, fuck.
And I mean that as a joke. We got the entire collection of the Dark Pictures anthology, and the only reason I have it is because of this steelbook right here. And this steelbook I found randomly at Half Price Books. So there was a collector's edition that Bandai Namco put out, I think, when Man of Medan launched. And if you bought that collector's edition, they gave you the steelbook. And the steelbook holds all 4 of the Dark Pictures anthology games inside of it. And they also had little previews inside of it to their future games as well. So it was kind of like a little teaser trailer inside of the steelbook. Man of Medan, I heard was not really that good, if I recall correctly.
I have played all 4 of these games. I don't know why you joked about it. I actually really like this style of game. Like, I like they're a guilty pleasure of mine.
Yeah.
I've played, except for like the one that doesn't have a physical release. I think I've played all of their games. Like their newest one is the only one I haven't played.
The Quarry, or House of Ash?
No, there's another one that just came out like probably like 6 to 7 months ago. It came out after the Quarry. I can't remember what it's called, but it doesn't have a physical release, so I didn't bother getting it.
Well, I gotta look this up right now. I thought you didn't like Man of Medan.
Oh no, that game is garbage. I love this game type. I don't love all of them though. The casting of Frank Stone is the most recent one.
Oh, that game sucked ass, and I think it was like a completely different type of video game anyway.
No, I think it's similar, but it's bad. Okay,
it's on Game Pass now. I know that they actually just added it to it.
Yeah, but I could actually talk about all 4 of these games. Like basically, they're very much a mixed bag. So Man of Medan, or Medan or Medan, whatever the fuck you want to call it. That's the worst one. Little Hope is okay. Like it's fun, but its twist is shit. I don't like it.
Don't ruin it for me, at least.
I'm not going to. It's both of those games are about 4 hours, so you could beat them in one sitting. The third game, which is below the one that you have, is House of Ashes. That game, legitimately fantastic. Like that is, if you are going to buy one of these 4, you buy that one, which is funny because it has fucking Ashley Tisdale as a CIA operative in it.
Hell yeah.
Which it's such an obnoxious like miscast, but she does such a good job at it, like everyone does. There's a man in this game. His name is Salim. if he dies in your run through, Carl, I'm gonna riot. Just putting that out there. And the Devil in Me is okay. Like, it's probably the most intricate of the 4 of them and is the longest by a considerable margin. I think it's about 9 hours. It just does one thing in it that makes me very, very tismy. I don't like when they involve dogs.
I was just gonna say, do they kill a dog?
You can, and it encourages you to.
Hell yeah!
Don't.
Now we can all be Hassan Piker.
I don't want to be Hassan Piker.
Let's all be Hassan Piker.
I don't want to be, because I actually like my dogs. You know, I get very, I don't, whenever I see a dog in media, I get really, really agitated, because I know I'm like, one of two things is going to happen. They're either going to kill this dog or they're going to tease it, and it's going to make me mad.
Yeah.
You know, like, I still haven't forgiven A Plague Tale for what they did in the beginning. That was just cheap. I fucking hated it. And it,
yeah.
And it did not give me good vibes. And I think it probably tainted the rest of the game for me, because I'm like, I see what you're doing.
Yeah, but that was like a retarded looking dog, so you can give
I
it
don't
a
care.
pass.
Like, it was just like, oh, hey, let's kill this dog in the most brutal way possible, because fuck you.
But
cheap emotional points. I hate that.
But it was like an indie art style dog, so was it really even a dog?
Yeah. Yeah, but in all seriousness, if you like schlocky horror movies, you'll love these. They're fun. I get a kick out of them because they're so stupid and yet so fun. Like, they're, you know those games that you kind of just like sit around with your friends and just shit talk the entire time while someone's playing?
All the time.
It's one of those games.
Yeah, I played Until Dawn relatively recently. I want to say like a few years back, and I actually enjoyed that game until the end, because there was some weird stuff at the end, in my opinion. But overall, I thought it was actually really well done.
Until the sad part is, because you played that, you have now played the best of their game lineup. Like, that is the best game that they've made. Everything else is kind of downhill.
I mean, I'm looking forward to A Little Hope. This one looked very interesting to me out of all of them, ironically.
Yeah. Luckily, it's short, so you don't have to invest a whole ton of time into it. But it is, I would say, it's number 2 on the list of quality.
Yeah.
With Man of Medan being on the bottom.
Yeah, I still need to pick up The Quarry. That's the other game I need to pick up from them. And I also want to pick up the Until Dawn remake. But
I haven't heard good things about the remake. I've heard it's very buggy.
It's been it's been a while now. I just don't want to pick it up for $40. You know what I mean?
Like, I don't think that there's enough new content to justify $40. Maybe 20.
That's what I'm saying. I want to pick it up just because, like, I bought the original Until Dawn like for $10, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm curious to like just play through both of them just to see if anything really has changed too much. You know, like I haven't heard, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't heard dick about it.
I haven't either.
That's what I mean. It's like, you know, aside for like some culture war grumblings, like I haven't heard anything about this game, because it was more like, why are they remaking it? And then they're like, oh, it's coming to PC. And then that's it. That's all I heard.
Yeah.
Why are they making it and it's coming to PC?
This game released with very little fanfare, and that's kind of sad because I like these games. But that's kind of been their MO, where they have like a lot of stealth releases. And I think that's just honestly because their games tend to be a mixed bag. Like, you know, like Until Dawn is very good. Man of Medan is not. You know, Little Hope is decent. You know, House of Ashes is great. Devil in Me is okay. The Quarry is decent. And, you know, apparently the casting of Frank Stone is a big pile of bullshit. But, you know, I'm excited for their next entry in this series, which has been delayed several times, which upsets me. But that one should be interesting. That's a sci-fi one.
Oh yeah, didn't they just announce that one not too long ago?
That one's been announced for years.
Yeah,
Like
I
it's
forget it
actually
exists.
it's actually really sad. Like why it's like I'm not sure why it keeps being delayed, but it's called Directive 8020. I don't know why it keeps. Let's see why it keeps being. Yeah, it's like.
Oh, I remember this one here. I want to share this one real quick here with everyone, so they can kind of see this one real quick here.
It was supposed to be released this year.
Yeah,
and now it's going to be delayed to the first half of 2026. So, I actually really want to play this one.
Because I kind of forgot about this one.
Not until you move from the scanner.
This was more supposed to be like the Thing vibes, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Because that's why it interests me, because I'm like, oh, this looks like the Thing.
Don't ever point that thing at me again.
But like more futuristic, the Thing.
Scan complete. Subject unidentifiable.
We need urgent assistance. Please. Help us.
Lies! October 2nd.
What if that went differently? Hey, I'm Will Doyle.
Get out of here, Will Doyle.
But it looks cool. Like I will say that it looks like every like sci-fi monster movie ever. Like, but that's not a bad thing.
Sorry, I finished your point.
I really like these style of games. Like it's sometimes you don't need like super intricate game mechanics. Sometimes you don't even need like a super well-written story. Sometimes you just need something that you can kind of just sit there with your friends or by yourself and just have like a silly fun time. And that's kind of what these are.
I feel like these are perfect. How can I say this? You didn't get a video game version of your favorite horror movie, so here's your replacement.
Yeah, and they're great for people who don't normally play games, but kind of just want to be there for the experience because like it's mostly just a choose your own adventure book is really what it is. And these are really cheap, so you can get a chunk of them for very cheap.
Yeah, I got all these for just under, I think. Oh, geez, what? The most expensive one on here, I think, was The Devil Inside Me, and I think I paid $18 for that one.
Yeah, because The Devil in Me, I think it was released about 3 years ago, so it's it's the most recent one.
Yeah, all these ones were relatively cheap. This was only $15. This was $13. I bought on sale.
You paid way too much for Man of Medan. that game should be like $5.
Yeah, I couldn't find it anywhere though. They were selling it for like 20 at GameStop.
Yeah, well that's just GameStop. The one thing that I do find is funny is that there's like a gimmick with every one of those games where they get like a C or D level like actor or actress with a semblance of notoriety.
Right.
Because I think like the most famous of the ones there is in Man of Medan, which is I believe his name's like Sean Ashmore or something.
Wasn't
the one from Quantum Break.
I'm trying to think. No, what about the other guy from Shameless? He's also in the Star Wars game. Wasn't he in Little Hope?
You mean Cameron Monaghan?
I'm terrible with these people's names. He was
the guy who played Joker in Gotham.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's not in any of these.
I thought he was in Little Hope.
Uh,
I thought. That doesn't mean I'm right.
he might be.
I don't know. I'm not Googling it right now, so I don't know. But also another thing too is they also had right before he blew up too. Freddie Mercury. What was that actor's name in Until Dawn? Hold on, let me consult the woman. Sandra.
Oh, it's what, Raimi something?
No, I almost said Sam Raimi. Rami Malek or something?
Yeah, Rami Malek.
Is it Rami Malek who was Freddie Mercury? Yeah, she said yeah. So there you go. Thank you, woman. Your job is done for now.
Now be gone.
Now back to the kitchen, wench. And then also Ando here chiming in. I'd be upset if they graphically killed Scooby-Doo, so I get where you're coming from.
The ship, I'm very like sensitive about animal deaths. Like, it's why I haven't watched any of the John Wick movies, because I refuse to watch the first one because I don't want to see a beagle puppy get shot.
Yeah, especially someone like me who's had beagles. I'm like, I've already had to deal with enough beagle death in my life. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't need to see this. And I'm like, it's like, oh, but you're denying yourself like a fantastic movie. I'm like, I know. I don't care. JM
denies himself of many things in life.
Yes.
He is like the troll. He is the troll tool.
Yeah, but I'm checking. He is not in there. Like, at least from what I've seen.
Nah, fair enough. I don't know.
It's somebody, like
somebody. He kind of looks like him on Sean. Like, he just looks like he's on the cover. He kind of looks like him. But I couldn't tell you who any of these fucking characters are. Generic people who will die, and I will forget all their names later on. Like, the only reason I remember the Chris character from Until Dawn is because he looks like Chris Ray Gun, and he's also named Chris, so it's like a cosmic irony there.
Oh yeah. God, that character can get some of the stupidest deaths because his love interest in that game is a piece of shit. Like, she is a shitty human.
Like all women.
Sure. But it's one of those, like, it's like the classic stereotype. Like, she's she tells you something, but she's actually lying kind of deals, where she's like, you could shoot me, it's okay. And then you shoot her, and that guarantees that Chris will die later in the game.
That's funny.
Because she's like, deliberately locks the door so you can get killed. And she's like, I didn't know what to do in time. And they're like, you bitch. Like, she is the worst character in there. Like, you would think that bitchy Asian lady would be the worst because she's trying to gaslight people into like hurting each other, like, because she's an asshole and overly paranoid. But nope, it's not her. It's the redhead with the beanie who pretends to be a good person but is actually a shit person on the inside.
Exactly. Alrighty then.
Just thinking about it makes me very butthurt.
Yeah, I'm gonna highlight you here. You only had one video game pickup this week, so what was it?
Sorry, gotta do the thing. There it is.
Do the thing, homie.
All right. So mine. Can you see it?
No. Oh wait, no, I can't. Here we go.
There we go. So I ended up getting Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth because that game was on a pretty massive sale on Amazon, and I had reward points. So I'm like, cool, I can get this game for free. So I ended up buying it. I've heard.
Hey, one second.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta address Mr. Neo here for showing up very late behind in the conversation. Wasn't it Until Dawn that Rami Malek was in? Yes, it was. Hi, Neo. Welcome too, by the way. Go on.
Yes, but obviously I'm way far away from being able to play this game because I'm only on Yakuza 0 and this is technically like Yakuza 8.
Yeah, this is technically, so this is like the weird part. I don't want to cut you off here. So technically there is 8 mainline Yakuza games, with one of them being a prequel. And then this one and Pirates are technically not considered mainline games, but are also considered mainline games. It's weird.
Like that's strange because I looked it up on Wikipedia and it said it was the 8th mainline installment, and it said that the pirate one was just a side game.
Yeah, but on the pirate one, like the Japanese version, it has like a number 8 on it as well.
Weird.
Yeah, so like I'm trying to see if I can find it real quick. Sorry.
Yeah, but
yeah, it's weird. Like I said, it's just weird.
Like I enjoyed like the Yakuza game, like the Yakuza 0, to the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm probably going to end up purchasing all of the games and putting them into my collection to where I can play them at some point, because like I'm looking into getting all of them and I'm only missing a couple. Like I'm missing I believe Judgment. I have Lost Judgment, but I don't have Judgment, which is
weird.
Silly.
That's the first one, but that's a spin-off game. You don't technically need that one.
Well, I don't technically need it. Like I want to get the pirate one, and I think the other one that I'm missing is the man who erased his name.
Yeah, those are important to the story.
Yeah. But that one I'm probably going to try to get soon, because that's not the only game that I would need to get from PlayAsia. So, it's one of those. If I can get enough of them, I can justify the purchase. Like, because I still need to get the 2 Fatal Frame international imports.
Yeah, those are probably going to go on sale soon for like a sale. Because right here, this is old Kiryu right here. And the man who erased his name is the in between after Yakuza 6 and 7 and before this one.
Okay. I don't want to know any of the spoilers. Like, I've read some of the excerpts from the backs of the games that I have, because I have I have all 8 of the mainline games. Like from, well, technically it's 9, but 0 to Infinite Wealth. Like, I own all of them.
Right.
So, like, every once in a while I can read like what's on them, but I'm going to be taking this very slow. It's going to take probably a year or 2 to actually get through all of them.
Well, if you play the games how they're intended, yes. where you just get lost in the world, yes, you will take probably longer.
Yeah, well, but it's also I'm going to be waiting until February to play number 3, because I'd rather play the remake.
Yeah,
than,
Kiwami 3, yeah.
Than actually go into the the remastered collection and play it that way, because I could tolerate playing 4 and 5 that way, but if I can just wait to get a more modern update of Yakuza 3, then I'll just do that instead.
Right. No, I get what you're saying. Plus they added that whole biker gang side mission and stuff like that. This one, this is not really a spoiler because this was shown off as advertising promotion, but they basically put Animal Crossing in this game as well. So I'm very curious to see how you and I are going to react to that once we get to it.
I mean, I'm up for whatever, because I didn't think that I'd have so much fun managing a fucking cabaret club, watching very wealthy, very sad people like get drunk with like 20-year-old women who are just paid to pay attention to you.
It's a thing in Japan, I guess. I
It's
don't
a
know.
very sad thing. Just like the fucking the telephone dating mini game is the weirdest, most awkward thing I've had to do.
I mean, the greatest thing you've ever had to do?
I will say his answering of the phone is probably the funniest thing that I've seen like in the game, where he does this like dramatic action pose with a fucking landline and then just goes, "Hello." But no, that minigame pisses me off. I don't know how many times I've loaded the like the shot for the with the right analog stick and let go, and it just does nothing, and I'm like, you son of a bitch. But the mini games are fun. Have you played all of the Yakuza games, or is it?
I'm only down to the last 3, so 6, 7, and the 8 and the spinoff.
I'm curious as to which of the Yakuza games is like the worst of them.
3. 3 has a really good story, but it is the shittiest first game on PlayStation 3.
It's one of those trying to get their sea legs on a new console kind of deal.
Yeah, like
Ew.
it's got a good environment. That's why I'm really excited for the Kiwami 3, because number 4 is kind of like number 3, but you could tell they have some improvements. And number 5 is really good. Like it actually feels amazing. So like 3 and 4 feel like basically the same game, and 5 feels like the next gen Yakuza, and then 6 is like basically 6 and 0 are basically the precursors to Kiwami and everything else like that.
Okay.
So that in my opinion, just from how it feels to play right now, even with the remaster and more quality of life control improvements, I had a horrible time playing 3. It just did not feel great.
So it's kind of like, trying to adjust to like a PlayStation 2 first-person shooter kind of deal.
Basically, and especially because I started with 0 and Kiwami 1 and Kiwami 2. And then it's like basically for me, the best equivalent would be like I went from a 2017 Mitsubishi Eclipse, or the last year they made a Mitsubishi Eclipse, to a 2002 Toyota Corolla. So like it's like, yeah, it's still serviceable, but it's a noticeable downgrade. All right.
Yeah.
And it's no offense to the actual like game itself per se, because it's not its fault. It was made for the PS3 only.
All of the offense.
Yeah, you're right. But it has a really good story, and it has some of the more over the top scenes in that in the Yakuza series. So very, very excited for Kiwami, especially because they added the whole biker gang stuff. So I can't wait to do that. Plus, they added that whole side story. So the dark something, I can't remember.
Basically, it looks like shit, but has a good personality kind of deal.
Yeah, like what my wife said to me. You look like shit, but I like your personality.
Fair enough.
All right. Now we're going to get to the trailer part of this. And the first one I got for us is the Indiana Jones update to it as well. It is now officially the 1-year anniversary. And
Here we go.
We're going to show it up.
This year, Machine Games celebrates our 15th anniversary. This is a huge milestone for us, and to celebrate, we're sharing gifts with all Indiana Jones and the Great Circle players. This is a free update and will be available on October the 10th on PlayStation 5. We've been paying close attention to what you've been asking for, and this update will address 3 of your biggest requests.
Don't you want to know what this is all about?
You're damn right I do.
New Game Plus lets you enjoy the game from the beginning, but with all your collected and unlocked adventure books still available to you. And with the release of the DLC, The Order of Giants, now's the perfect time to replay the story.
I can't believe you dare to investigate this.
To top it all off, you'll discover a brand new ending sequence following the credits.
Impressive.
We've had many fans asking us why Indy would wear his famous leather jacket in the blistering heat of Giza. That's why we've added a new Indy outfit for all players. modeled after his iconic jacket-free look in Cairo in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, little guy.
We'll have more outfits on the horizon, so keep an eye out for them over the coming months. Many of you have wished for the ability to mix and match voice and text languages. Now you can choose from any of the 9 voice languages and the 14 text languages available in any combination that you like.
What I'd like to do is put the guns down.
Adelante. Le partiré los dientes.
That
You can
seems
learn more
wrong.
about the Machine Games anniversary update here, including a full list of all the smaller changes coming in the update. Thank you all for helping us make the last 15 years so memorable. We look forward to the next 15.
You know what? You know what I will say? That game had no right to be as good as it was.
I was going to ask. So, did you play that game? You said
Yes. When you gave you gave me like a year and a half ago, like a code to Game Pass,
Mm-hmm.
and I never ended up using it. But I wanted to get the Persona 3 DLC expansion before it expired. So, and that's not you have it as long as you have Game Pass. It's you buy it once and you keep it forever kind of deal. And getting it for free was what sealed it for me. So I ended up using the Game Pass code you gave me. And I'm like, since I'm here, I might as well see what this whole thing's about. And this was one of the games that I played. And I have to say, after about an hour and a half of playing, I really got into it. Like, this was a much better game than I expected it to be. Like, I expected it to be okay, but I really liked it, except for the final boss. That sucked. Like, that was not fun.
Yeah. And also, I'm going to post a link here to the Best Buy right now as well for people who are interested. Currently, the premium edition, which includes the DLC, is available at Best Buy right now for $26 off. So you can actually pick it up for $73.99. So I think that's a pretty good deal, especially if you are a PS5 owner.
Too rich for my blood, but it's decent.
I mean, you basically are paying like full price for the game plus the DLC.
Yeah, I get it. It's just still too rich for my blood.
I know it's too rich, but for the people out there right now, I think that's a really good deal. Because like I said, $26 off. You get basically the full game with an extra $3 for the DLC. And the DLC just came out recently. And plus you just saw all the upgrades and stuff like that. So that's very, very interesting. I
like it when developers do like unneeded quality of life stuff that their audience asks for. That's some pretty cool bits of things that they've done. Because, the game doesn't need it. But it makes the game better. Like, even doing something as fucking petty as actually listening to people complain about wardrobe aesthetics in a fucking game where you're not in you physically are not in the desert.
Yeah.
But
Machine Games is a good studio.
Like, I really like that. I really like this game. Like, I'm going to be honest. It was quite fun, though. I have to say it did kind of break my immersion in a funny way when you start to know more about like the Nazi villain, because he just becomes so cartoonish and silly that I couldn't take the game seriously. After you find out that he's basically like a 1940s weeb, because he literally even says like, I have mastered the art of karate, and says it in the cringiest way. And I started laughing because he even did a fucking pose. It's so goofy, but it fit. So I had fun. I did like that it's a big mix of gameplay elements, and not a single one of them was like so bad that it took away from the rest. They were all serviceable.
Yeah, like I said, I need to get back to play it. Actually, when I started to play it, my dogs got really sick. And I was really worried about one of them, Atreus, as you know.
Yeah.
I thought he was dying because he was just having nothing but like problems to save everyone to details. And I was like not sleeping well and everything else like that. And I was like, oh no, am I going to have to put down my dog because is he dying? And then Pumpkin, she got sick too in a similar way. And then we found out that we were just feeding them too many cranberries because we were trying to make them like their own food from home to try to save some money.
Yeah.
And my wife was found out that dogs could eat cranberries, but she put too much in their food, and it was a nightmare week. And it just so happened to be the week I was playing Indiana Jones. So I had to stop playing Indiana Jones because I was associating it with a sad time. So,
oh yeah, like I mean that's in a little bit more of a darker tone. That's why I refuse to play Stray. Like I haven't played it, I haven't bought it, I haven't watched anybody play it. I refuse to touch it because that game came out the day after my cat died.
Yeah, Sandra really liked it though.
Like I just every time I look at that game, I get very angry because that cat, like that was about 3 years ago, but I had that cat since I was 10, so I was devastated. And then I saw this game, and I'm like, oh come on, and I was pissed off at it. Eventually, I'll play it, but like but you're right. Like once you associate something with something like that, it's hard to go back and deal with it.
You need some time. It's like when I started playing Doom 2016, a father figure in my life passed away the same week I was playing it.
Yeah.
So I couldn't, play that game. So it happens. But enough about being down. We're going to bring up the next trailer. And this one's going to be the longest one here. And it's going to be to another one of your favorite video games there, buddy.
Oh, no.
Another world snuffed from existence. There's only one way to prevent this tragedy before they reach the point of no return.
Breast reduction surgery.
I'll use my power to transport us back to a time before the upheaval. Once we're there, hopefully we can make contact with each of these legendary heroes.
So you played Code Vein, right?
Yes, it sucked.
What's the story? I don't know.
I'm going to be honest. I don't fucking remember. All I know is there are like people who are like vampires and people who are not. And they're like protected in this like giant bubble that prevents like these monsters from coming in and absolutely fucking people. I don't remember much of it because I immediately started tuning it out because it's retarded weeb shit. And once I start hearing like overly complicated, convoluted world building and philosophy I could find on the back of a Wheaties box, I immediately tune it out.
Well, Lethal, if you're listening later, that's his view, not mine. I just don't like Souls-like games. You know that.
Yeah, I have standards.
A battle to save the world from ruin.
It's garbage.
Let's
Play better
go.
games.
Wherever you go, I will always be by your side.
There are times when you need someone. I will be by your side.
My name is Valentin Voda. So you're a solo hunter, are you?
Queer.
His head is so tiny.
Do you have a place
He's
to
a queer.
stay in Magmill yet?
Look how
A revenant hunter?
Can you go back for a second?
Not now.
Yeah, sure.
Get away from here.
I'm sorry. That really bugged me.
Place to stay in.
Look at that. Look how tiny his head is compared to his gigantic like fucking pectoral muscles under that shirt. It's obnoxious.
How do you notice a guy's pecs that much, man?
Because they're right fucking there.
It's not that big.
Compared to his head?
Dude, he looks like the front singer of fucking My Chemical Romance, right? He's not like screaming big, fucking intimidating figure, bro.
No, it's whatever. It's
whatever. That's what you can say. Whatever.
It's in comparison to his fucking head. His head is tiny, and then like his chest is huge compared to his fucking head. He's not a big person.
It's just
but
his
head
jacket
is
that
tiny.
That looks huge on him. He doesn't look that big.
I guess we're seeing two different things.
I guess we are. I get,
It's-
you know,
it's
is this a
bugging me.
Rorschach test? Is like which one makes you sound less gay?
I don't care.
Magmel yet?
A revenant hunter?
See, their heads
Get
are
away
normal.
from here.
Well, can't say I remember hiring you.
I
but
guess.
If you're game,
Look
lend me
all
a
right.
hand. And Valentin, he'll be the most powerful figure out here on the frontier.
This is like really bad show off of gameplay. I don't like it.
Jose, a
Well,
revenant
that's
who
because the
fell
game is
victim to
bad.
her very own
Well, at least the
powers.
first game is bad.
So tell me, my mysterious visitor.
Put on pants.
Who are you? In the name of the great Gula bloodline, I do bestow
shirt.
upon you my blood as proof of our engagement. Until the resurgence struck,
I guess
these
the-
horrors
it's the
must have been
streaming,
the
'cause I was
city's
like, what
residents.
is this frame rate? I guess it looks fine.
Let's
for you.
go. It's high
Yeah,
time
it
I
looks
faced
okay.
my past.
It looks like shit for me, but
When
that's
the balance
that's
of
the-
power shifted from human to revenant,
What?
there was change. Dramatic shift. The human spirit was twisted beyond recognition.
If
Yeah,
someone
this
has
is
to get
not
hurt,
a.
I would rather it be me.
This
So
is
far as I know,
not a good
your
gameplay
case
reveal.
is entirely unprecedented.
But I'm also
Off to
predisposed to
kill
hate this.
again?
Yeah.
We all know
Oh.
these are bloody times we live in. Every
Put
one
on
of
pants.
us is desperate to survive.
Fucking
But you
weirdo.
crossed a line killing my people.
Raiders making their move, huh? That should at least give you enough time to escape.
See, his head is normal.
That ring, damn it.
That ring of power.
Curs! Damned wretched curs! They would dare to truly stoop so low!
What is this acting?
Do you remember the statue of that revenant I showed you in the present?
No, I don't.
If fate runs its course, Noah will die fighting the raiders, and the others here
And
won't
nothing
fare
of
much
value
better.
will be lost.
Need I remind you that tampering with history, unless under the most extreme of circumstances, is strictly forbidden? What will you do if your meddling ends up
I would
costing
joke about the
their
size of her
lives?
head, but that's
Meddling
just
with
because
the
her tits are
past.
huge.
Meddling to excess. There's always a chance it can potentially reverse all the progress you've made so far. Please, give it some careful thought. Above all else, try to weigh your feelings against what is at stake here.
This looks like somebody wanted to make a Tokyo Ghoul
focus,
game,
our true
but an Elden
objective
Ring world.
is to save this world.
I
current
feel
world.
bad that I'm for a game that's like hasn't even come out yet.
It
I'm
is you,
already
Phil,
agitated
Who must
at it,
save
but
the world of man?
I disliked Code Vein that much to the point where it actually pissed me off.
I can tell.
Yeah, and it's like I had such a bad time with it. And it is the worst Souls-like I've probably played outside of the very first Lords of the Fallen. And that game was just bleh. Like, this game actually made me mad. Well, it's not the I'll say this. It's not the worst Souls game I've ever played because that belongs to Darksiders 3. I loathe that game. But I don't know. Everything about it just did not work with me. Like I tried to adjust to it and want to enjoy it, but my time with it was spent mostly grinding to get over the barriers that the game put forward. And if I'm forced to grind at like every barrier, I have a strong feeling that your game isn't well designed. You know, because with Dark Souls, Bloodborne, and the other Souls games, even Elden Ring to a point,
Yeah.
most of the time, all I had to do was strategize better, and I could overcome it at the level I was at. And I would only have to grind if I wanted to just make the experience easier. With this one, a lot of the times it just felt like, oh, you just need to be higher level, because it's not about can you get through this without getting hit. It's can you get through this without getting hit so many times that you can't recover. Because, you know, the hitboxes were weird. The dodge timings were strange. Sometimes you would even dodge and the game would just be like, no. And a lot of the times it tried to be very much like Dark Souls, where it even threw in a duo fight, and the duo fight was so bad that it actually made me like nearly stop playing. You know, and I spent hours grinding, hours to get past that point. But yeah, game was garbage. Play something else. I would pass on this.
Yeah, well, I'm not a big Souls-like fan, so I know there's a community out there that actually liked that one, so I'm happy that at least they're getting their sequel.
I mean, I'm happy for them too. I just thought that it was garbage.
All right, next up, we got a game that's been kind of remastered a lot and ported a lot. Did you ever play the Siberia games?
I swear I have all of these. I've just never touched them. They're like point and clicks, right?
Yeah, they apparently they're getting another remaster.
Point and clicks are not my thing.
Miss Walker, I presume.
I think they're okay.
Have you had
like
a good
Monkey's
journey?
Island?
I imagine
I
you
think
are
it's
aware of the business
a
that brings me
fascinating
here.
game
I
genre.
am afraid that the
It's not
sale of the Vorarlberg factory is not as straightforward as it first seemed. There is an heir, Miss Walker.
Excuse me?
I will say this.
Still alive.
This definitely looks like a 90s PC game, though.
It does have that kind of age to it.
It does look like dog shit.
The second half of the letter informs us that Hans Vorarlberg is somewhere in Siberia. I would prefer to close this affair quickly. Please do.
But like I said,
He's be in Siberia of all places.
Another thing too is, like I said, they've already ported and remastered these games so many times.
Walker, I have been
Are
designed
they
to drive a
that popular?
locomotive.
I guess so.
And where
This
is
is a
that
franchise
train
I've heard a lot
The train
about.
is going
though.
far away. Very far away indeed.
I've never played a single one of them.
There's
I
something
don't
I'm
think I've
looking
even
for, but I
talked
don't
to a
quite
single
know
person
what.
who's
The
played
clue.
these.
Anything that might tell me where Hans
You don't talk
is.
to people in general, so.
But I know enough people, like enough gamers, to where they usually have at least played.
I'm well
something.
aware that this trip has taken me far from New York and far from the Kate you once knew.
I think this was more of a you got to go to like the next generation, you know, like the 40-year-olds to talk to them more.
I guess, because I'm happy. Just like with, you know, Code Vein 2, like you're right. Like I'm happy that the fans, you know, are getting more of what they want.
Right.
You know, that like I am, despite my annoyance with that with the first game. This one, I'm happy they're getting more of what they want. I want to know who these people are because I've never met any of them. And
go on.
But you know, a lot of the things, you know, the like at least the first three. I don't know how many there are in total, but I've always seen them on like, you know, free game deals or on like game bundles. Or,
Yeah, included in with stuff.
Or Twitch Prime has given like them away like several times, and that's probably how I own mine. But I've never met anybody who's played them. Like, and that's not a slight on the game. That's just fascinating to me that it has so much success to the point where I've never met somebody who's actually played them.
Well, it also has so many ports too. That's another.
Yeah,
thing, you know,
which means that it's getting enough success to where, you know, that effort is warranted.
Yeah, exactly.
Fascinating. I may actually have to play it, just curiosity thing.
Right. You can probably find it at GameStop or something too. That's where I found mine. It was like
I probably own it on GOG or Amazon Games or Epic, wherever I usually get free shit.
Gotcha. Okay, so this last game that I'm going to show is one that looks interesting to me, per se.
Okay.
I saw it pop out the other day, and I watched this trailer earlier, and I was like, this looks pretty damn cool. You know me, I'm one of those guys that kind of likes a lot of the weirder games out there. So this game is called Bye Sweet Carol.
Never heard of it.
It just got announced yesterday, so here's the trailer for it.
Fair enough. What the? Okay, that was an intro.
Step away from becoming ours. And give into despair. We're about to fly.
That was a strange transition.
Now you can hear me.
Like, it reminds me a lot of those.
Just let us be.
Very 90s Disney movie.
Yeah, late 80s, early 90s, like animated style.
I will say that game looks gorgeous.
It does.
This is very much like Cuphead, where the art style interests me enough to where I would actually buy this.
It reminds me a lot of these games like Slay the Princess, Cuphead, and all these like underrated like indie games that are using a unique and interesting art style. Like I said, this reminds me of what's that? Fern Gully and stuff like that.
Fern Gully. It had some of that. What's that rabbit movie that everyone talks about, like haunting their nightmares for like years of their childhoods? Like, was it Water Something Down? I can't remember.
Ooh, I don't know what you're talking about off the top of my head. If AJ was still here, he could tell us. But
it's, you know, it has this, you know, it has this 90s like Disney princess aesthetic with the like obscure animated like horror, you know, like underpinnings to it, you know, kind of like what's that stop motion movie where like the young girl goes into like an other world with like Coraline, yes, that one, where it kind of has that kind of like undertone to it with the, you know, 90s Disney aesthetic.
Right.
So, and that, you know, and as we know, that's like the objectively like the best era of Walt Disney outside of like the 40s and 50s, without, you know, the casual family racism that's thrown into the older movies.
That was the best part.
No, but when's that getting released?
I don't think it had a release date. Here, let me look it up now. Bye Sweet Caroline, or what was it? Bye Sweet Carol. There you go. Bye Sweet Carol. Well, I think it's actually out now.
Really? Hold on.
Yeah, because it looks like it came out October 9th. It's got a very positive review right now on Steam. And
I mean, I don't trust immediate Steam reviews.
It's got 92 reviews though, so that's pretty trustworthy.
Yeah, I'd still give it a few weeks before I take any review with a grain of salt.
Yeah,
just to give players time to really adjust to it. I really hope that this gets a physical release, because if it's good, which it looked good, it I want games like that to be preserved physically. because I think that like games that put that like developers that put that much effort into like their art style and their aesthetic theme, that they deserve to have their stuff kind of immortalized as much as possible.
Yeah, and like I said, right now it's $20 on Steam. Looks like it's available on everything but the Nintendo Switch.
$20 is a good deal.
Yeah,
especially with you know, that level of effort that they probably put in. But you know what I did find really amusing with some of the some of the clips in that game? Like some of the villains had this almost kind of like low frame rate movement to them that was kind of like very awkward and unsettling.
Yeah.
Almost like you remember those old like Cartoon Network like Flash games?
Yeah.
Like a lot of the enemies had that kind of movement style, and that kind of made me a little nostalgic. And I played the shit out of the like Halloween Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy Flash game. That one, super easy but super fun. It had that kind of movement aesthetic to it. And whenever I see that, I kind of get happy, because it's a really interesting callback if that was, done on purpose. So I'm going to put this on my wish list.
Yeah, so it has a special introductory offer on Steam right now for $20 or $23 for the deluxe edition.
Oof, man, my Steam is really jittery. But yeah, it looks very good. It
looks interesting.
Like it like, I have to say, the backgrounds and how the character looks, like, kind of like the interaction between, the character in the foreground and its background, it looks like a highly detailed Flash game. And that's not an insult. Like, that's very nostalgic for me.
Yeah.
And it looks fantastic.
So yeah, I'm hoping to see. I'm going to check this out on Xbox and PlayStation after the store, see what the prices are.
So it looks like it looks like this isn't their first game.
No, I think there are two other games from what I was looking at.
They have Broken Lore, Don't Watch, and Melancholy Farewells. But you know what's really cool is they have two bundles. Like, unfortunately, you can't get, all three games in one bundle, but you can get Until Then or Broken Lore, Don't Watch. Oh wait, it's not. They're not even the same developer. Why are these bundled together?
It might be the same publisher. They do that
there...
sometimes.
No, let me check. Steam, stop tisming. Yes, it is. Yeah, it's a publisher deal. So this might actually be their first game.
Well, I'm interested in checking this out, so hopefully
yeah, that's going on the wish list right there.
Yeah, that might be a pick up and buy and play maybe this week to check it out,
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, that it'll probably go on sale during the Christmas sale, so I might pick it up then.
Right.
Because I have far too much going on right now to play that.
No, I feel you.
I have Yakuza games to play.
All right, now let's get to the news segment over here.
Mm-hmm.
First one I'm going to share off is a post on Twitter for Resident Evil, the official Resident Evil Twitter account. The nightmare begins soon. Resident Evil Requiem pre-orders will start on October 29th, U.S. time. Plus, we will be releasing a video celebrating the Resident Evil franchise at the same time. Note, no new Resident Evil Requiem gameplay will be shown. Keep an eye out for that as well. Mr. JM, are you interested in the upcoming Resident Evil game?
When is this being released?
Next year, I think February or January.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I keep forgetting that this game exists. I love the Resident Evil series, but I'm not obsessive about it, and I've played pretty much all the mainline ones, and I'm kind of satisfied with what I've played. So I'm interested, and I want to see what they change to make this stand out from the rest of the modern Resident Evils. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't been super enthused in its totality with modern Resident Evil, as it says, pretty much from like 5 onwards. I feel like they're a massive mixed bag, and I'm hoping that this is more like the remakes than it is like the mainline ones, because I loved the remake of 2 and I loved the remake of 4. I've soured on 3s, even though I liked it initially. I hope it's more like them than it is like the mainline ones, because the mainline ones, they haven't been great.
And then also we have Ando asking a question here. Anyone play Ukulele? It just got some sort of full-scale remake / Takes-Two full-scale remake / Take-Two games that actually really good so far from what I've played.
I have not. I own both of the Ukulele games, the originals anyway.
Yeah.
I haven't taken the time to play them because I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not a collectathon guy.
Yeah, these were also made by former Banjo-Kazooie devs too.
Yeah, and I thought that Banjo-Kazooie was just okay. I played it a few years ago, and I liked it, but again, I'm not a collectathon guy. Like classic Nintendo games don't really do it for me. I don't know what it is. I have no drive to play them. And that's very much like got that old classic Nintendo look and feel.
Right.
And I'm just not interested. Like it's one of those I'll get to it eventually kind of games, but I haven't really pushed to see more of it.
Yeah, I feel you. It's like the same with me and like, say, for example, Battlefield 6 and everything that just came out today.
Oh, yeah.
I've just like, yeah, this is great. I'm happy. But it's like Call of Duty and everything else. It's like I just don't get excited for some games anymore like I used to. I want to go back and replay all the Black Ops games again too.
Yeah,
but
it's
I just
like,
don't feel it.
And it's like I don't mean this is not meant in any way as an insult to people who love those games. But I'm like, I'm not in high school anymore. I don't have. Like, all of my friends aren't picking this game up, so I have to buy it in order to play with my friends. It's one of those things where it's like, this looks fun, but am I going to pay $70 to $80 for this game? And on top of that, I daily drive Linux now. I can't play this game. At least I can't play the multiplayer portion of the game, which is, as we all know, is the most important part of those games. And, the anti-cheat won't let me play it because I'm on Linux. So it's even more of a reason for me not to play it. So I'm happy that everyone's super excited about the game. I'm happy that Battlefield fans are apparently getting an actual good Battlefield game for the longest time. But it's not for me anymore.
Totally understandable. But I'm interested in this one. But I gotta make time to replay all the Resident Evil games too. Yeah, I really want to do that.
What I will say is, will I get this game day one? Maybe, probably within the first week. because even the ones I don't like still have their charm, and I still can have fun with them. It's just this game keeps slipping from my mind, and I keep getting reminded about it, and I go, "Oh yeah, I forgot," and then I go back to forgetting about it. I hope it's good. I hope everybody gets what they want out of it. I hope I get what I want out of it. I just hope it's fun. I hope it's good. I'm not, I'm not going to tism about this like I tismed about Code Vein 2, which, again, I still hope that game is good so fans can get what they want. I just hated the first game.
And then also here, Ando brings up again, mostly bringing it up because it's sort of rare for a mid to bad game to get a full out remake / reimagining to be good now.
Was it bad?
I had its fans.
I remember it not being like super popular. I don't remember anybody going, well, yeah, this game wasn't worth, the price of admission kind of deal. That's interesting. Well, I mean,
it originally was an Xbox exclusive too.
I'm going to be honest with you. If fucking like The Last of Us 2 can get like a remaster like 4 years after it came out, I think anything can get anything at this point.
That I agree with.
So I'm surprised, but also not.
All right. The next bit of news over here is Machine Games is celebrating its 15th anniversary.
That's what I remember them for.
Yeah.
So the Wolfenstein games, which are mostly not very good. I'm just going to say that.
I like the first two and Old Blood. Number 2 was fucking hard as shit, though. That's my biggest problem with it.
I loved the New Order. The Old Blood kept trying to force stealth on me, and I didn't like it. Like, it was weird. Like, it was like this weird in between the New Order and, the New Colossus or whatever it's called. And I hated it. The New Colossus I thought was dog shit. The story was awful. And the massive difficulty swings between certain parts where I would fucking steamroll everything in my path, and then the next checkpoint I would get absolutely shit stomped by 2 like random like Nazi thugs, and I would just immediately be blown back to the last checkpoint, and it like I dropped it for years before I finally finished it. And then we don't need to talk about Youngblood.
We don't talk about that. It's like we don't talk about Bruno. That's what we do. We don't talk about it.
Yeah, it exists.
But the reason why I brought this up is it looks like they're teasing their next new game after this one, and I wonder, what do you think their new title would be, just for fun?
I don't know. Like, I don't know their track record. Like, I hope it's not a new Wolfenstein game, because I'm kind of Wolfensteined out here. Like, as you can see, 4 of the 5 games like there are Wolfenstein. And I don't think we need more. I would like something more akin to their Indiana Jones game. Something that's like adventure-esque and less first-person shooter.
So a new IP.
Yeah, I'd like a new IP.
Okay. I kind of want Wolfenstein 3 because I feel like we need to get the end of that story arc. Because I feel like Wolfenstein 2 did not leave me at a satisfactory completion,
What, Youngblood didn't give you what you wanted?
I played exactly 20 minutes of Youngblood and realized it was dog shit. So
yeah, I beat that game. Don't do it. It's awful.
Well, that's on you.
I bought that game for $9 on clearance at a Walmart, and I want my $9 back. Like that game was a mistake. Anybody who hasn't played it, don't. It's legitimately, do not waste your time.
All right.
At least I didn't get lectured in this game like I did in the second game. That was obnoxious.
All right. The next one I got up is actually an article. And this comes from former Kotaku guy, Mr. Steve Totillo, who is now independent. And it said here, Ubisoft canceled a post-Civil War Assassin's Creed game last year. Company leadership deemed the project too controversial for the moment, sources tell GamesFile. So if you haven't heard about this one, I will say right here, in July of last year, word began to trickle through Ubisoft that an ambitious new installment of the company's top franchise, Assassin's Creed, had been canceled. The new game would have brought the history-spanning series to one of the most modern settings, the American Civil War, and more so a reconstruction period that followed in the 1860s, and 1870s. In this reconstruction era, Assassin's Creed gamers would play as a black man, ooh, spooky, who had been formerly enslaved in the South and moved west to start a new life. Recruited by the series assassins, he would return to the South to fight for justice in a conflict that would, among other things, see him confront the emergence of the Ku Klux Klan. That, according to interviews with 5 current and former Ubisoft employees who spoke to GameFile on the condition of anonymity, blah, 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 bullshit. The people were enthusiastic about the game, but were also frustrated by its cancellation, which they perceived as Ubisoft bowing to controversy. So, long story short, too political in a country, too unstable, to make it short, was what they took it away from here. So, I guess I would bring this up to you here. I actually think this would have been a very fun time period for them to explore. But I kind of want to know what your thoughts here. You were given a little bit of background information. What would your thoughts be?
I would echo your sentiment. Like, this is the Reconstruction era is, it's like, I don't know too much about it because, I've lost most of the history knowledge that I gained throughout my life because, I have a shit memory.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it would have been really fascinating for us to kind of witness firsthand, the important shit that's happened during this time, where a president was basically chosen and not elected, which is a fascinating little tidbit, because if anybody doesn't know, Rutherford B. Hayes was basically chosen. He in a backroom deal instead of, being actually elected, which is sad, but it is what it is. Things shouldn't happen that way, but it did. But seeing stuff like that, seeing the South after the war, which was a very tumultuous and strife-filled time period, and the rise of the Klan would have been an interesting thing for them to tackle if they were willing to actually take the time to do it properly,
right,
and make it historically accurate instead of possibly trying to make a a modern contemporary statement with it.
He's gay.
I would have loved to have seen this. I don't think anybody would have cried about the idea of assassinating Klan officials who are part of the Order of the Ancients or whatever the fuck they want to call them now.
Right.
I think that would have been a cool use of the era, seeing more Reconstruction events and more civil rights leaders and people of the time period. I think that would have been fascinating because I would like for them to actually start going more modern in a maybe not super modern, but close enough to where you're oh, I remember reading about this in high school kind of deal. My only problem with this setting is kind of the issue that we had during Assassin's Creed 3, where the parkour kind of had to get a little goofy because this isn't ancient Rome where all of the all of the structures are ancient and large and gaudy and easy to climb on. There's going to be big buildings, but they're not going to they're going to be probably very spaced out and sparse, similar to how 3 was. And I think we can both agree that 3 was not a very good game.
I feel like for me, because history is my wheelhouse,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't know, because they said between the time period of the Civil War ending, it would be fun to kind of look at like the intrigue of like the first president to get impeached with Andrew Johnson.
Yep.
It would be cool to kind of see how they would play into how the South is being carpetbagged too during this time as well.
Oh yeah,
because I want to know how they would address like the South, in particular, because listen, we're going to get a little political here, so strap in, boys, but we're not going to get like super political. But it's like, think about it from a perspective like this.
Putting on my questioning hat.
You have a bunch of like these French people who have to have like an outside view of American history. And they got to go in and they got to try to get past basically the liberal bias of, their industry to kind of make an actual fun and interesting story, which I think Ubisoft devs can do, as we've seen with games like Expedition 33 and, the older Assassin's Creed games. Like, they know how to write a story.
Yeah.
The biggest problem now is that those were devs who weren't basically being put in place by office politics, let's just say, so they could have like a fun story where you can have like, Harriet Tubman show up. You can have Ulysses S. Grant show up somewhere, future president.
Mm-hmm.
You can have like the embattlement of like, the carpetbagging, basically the South recovering from Sherman's march. And, you can probably humanize the South as well, because like a lot of those people weren't slave owners and they were just fighting for what they believed in and stuff like that too.
The vast majority of people were far too poor to own slaves.
Yeah, and there could be other stuff that could talk on too. Like a fun side quest could be like the New York Regiment rebelling basically to not fight for slavery, stuff like that. And like obviously the integration and the KKK stuff.
Yeah.
Like they could have like a very rich, interesting, playground to work with there, especially if depending on where they picked it from, like you could have it in the mountains of Tennessee. So you can have a lot of parkouring up mountains, kind of like they had in Odyssey and Origins and stuff like that. And you can also have like more fun in the Tennessee hills, hiding out in log cabins and stuff like that. Like they could have made it work a little bit more too. Plus they also had like the Industrial Revolution was like really full swing here too as well. So like the trains and everything else like that too. They could almost get it in a little bit closer to like a Red Dead Redemption kind of vibe,
Yeah. And like if they would take the time to like really like get into like the weeds of like these historical issues, and it's as much as we shit on Ubisoft for being Ubisoft, not everybody who's a part of that company is shit at their job.
Right.
A lot of these writers are actually very talented. What I would have wanted from them, and I think most people would have, is for them to tackle the contemporary issues of the time with, the historical context that, that each issue deserves, without using their like essentially painting like these issues with a modern brush, but also not, like not inserting their own bias into it, but also not doing just like a basic one-to-one, like clinical retelling.
Right.
Like they could have these interesting like discussions, during this time, and have like very deep storytelling, like where people actually think about these issues and how people of the time addressed it.
Yeah.
Both for the good and the bad, because there were people who were, obviously at the time, like full-blown abolitionists who not only, they didn't, they especially didn't want slavery, but they very much didn't want Jim Crow like style, policies either.
Right.
And then there were the people who, were full on racist to the point where they fucking, create the silliest, most retarded organization in like American politics, the KKK.
Yeah.
And referring to themselves as the Grand Wizard, which is the really fucking retarded.
What is it about like racists and always like being very closely related to like D&D kind of slang? Have you ever noticed that?
I don't know.
It's
honestly,
weird.
It's weird and like cringe as fuck. And it like I'm 100% okay with it because it makes it much easier to make fun of them.
Like
they're just so retarded and cringe that it's easy to bully them.
But it's like even the Nazis were like into also like the occult stuff and everything too, And I just was like, why is it that nerds turn out to be the most like horrible things
it's
ever
just
happen?
Like, when you get so far into like the racism and the social Darwinism, you start like gravitating towards like occult and magical sources, like some kind of fucking cringe lord.
Well, it's like General Butt Naked. Do you remember him?
I remember a Dankula video on him.
It's like once these people get like crazy power, or like they start tripping, like they start believing like they're like invincible and they'll like contact the gods or something. It's weird.
I don't know.
I think we discovered why they made Assassin's Creed. That's what I'm learning.
It just gives you like extra ammo to make fun of them. So
yeah,
whatever, like works for me. Yeah, I could bully them more, but it's one of those. If they would take the time to address these issues like properly and address the problems of the time properly in a story that makes sense, and have people interact like with you like properly as they would as a black man of that time, like depending on how they feel. I think that would have been a really interesting way to have like especially a stealth game of that time, of that time period. You could do some very fascinating things, and I think this is a wasted opportunity. And I think like I'm not sure if it had to do with the fact that people threw the biggest bitch fit about Shadows having a black guy be the main lead instead of a Japanese samurai instead. I personally don't care. I just think it's really funny the idea of a like 6'4" black man in the middle of Japan.
That was my point too. It's like it's called Assassin's Creed.
That's just funny to me. Like it didn't even bother me. Just the idea of it just makes me laugh because he sticks out like a fucking sore thumb.
That's my point. Like you're correct about it. It's like, okay, we're in like one of the most non-diverse countries during a certain time period when immigration was never pretty much heard of.
And I mean, they're still like that now.
Yeah, but it's like you got this like you basically throw Shaquille O'Neal in a samurai outfit and you're like, yes, he was going to be the one that's going to help take down the espionage and stealth missions and stuff like that, Yes, the silly little black man who's going to be running around like posting up on all these like tiny little Asians, It's like, come on.
Have you played the game?
I have not gotten to it yet. I will say this, for all the like stuff that happened with that game, with like the controversies and everything, some of it was very well earned. Some of it was not. Let's just be honest here. There were people who were trying too hard to hate that game for engagement clicks. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Dustborn, after a while. But
Yeah.
But generally speaking, from people that I've heard play it, they said that it's a fun game to play, but they said it's probably not the best in the new Assassin's Creed lines.
So is it more like Mirage or is it more like the RPG?
I was told it was played more probably like the RPGs.
I wish they would go away from that. I'm going to be honest. I would like more. My issue with the RPG Assassin's Creeds is that it feels like a lot of the times there's like a lot of unnecessary padding to the game that could easily be kind of cut out. Like like in Valhalla, I felt like there was way too much like alliance building. Like I felt like half of these alliances could be cut out, and like I would have lost no value to the story as a whole, especially in if they had cut out the modern parts of that game, I would have been much happier, because holy crap, that was bad. But it feels like too much fluff in it, and I would have liked a more streamlined experience.
I generally understand that. I think you and I do agree that there's too much padding in a lot of these games.
Yes,
that are just there to waste your time. It kind of like I said, Yakuza feels like it's the right way to do it. And then there's obviously,
but the thing with Yakuza is that you can ignore it. Like you can ignore the padding if you're willing to sacrifice, like fighting upgrades.
Right.
Because obviously you need to do the mini games in order to, reasonably get enough money to upgrade them, because that's kind of how the game is designed. But in Assassin's Creed, you can't ignore every side quest. You have to do some of them, because the level requirements will not allow you to progress.
Right.
And that's where I get annoyed, is when the game is forcing me off the beaten path because it makes arbitrary level requirements. That's why I couldn't get into the first Octopath Traveler, because, of the obnoxious level requirements needed to progress character stories.
I feel you on that one, but I also don't mind grinding.
When I feel like the grinding is I'm okay with grinding when I feel like the game, like it's making the experience smoother for me, not like, oh, I need to do this in order to actually do the thing that I want, kind of deal. And it felt a lot of the times, especially with Odyssey, it's like you are not progressing unless you do this. Well, less so in Valhalla, because I was smacking people like 60 to 80 levels above me with relative ease. It's been like 4 to 5 years since, actually probably more towards 4, since I've played Origins, so I don't really remember how the balancing was in that game. I'm assuming it's probably more towards Odyssey than it was towards Valhalla. But I would just like a more streamlined experience. I just feel like that's where Assassin's Creed is at its best. I haven't played Mirage, but I've heard with some people that it's okay. I just don't like how Basim is tied to the modern storyline. I think it's cringe and annoying. Because I liked it better when it was like the Assassin's Order versus the Templar Order, like fighting for control of ancient artifacts for their control over the planet, as opposed to now they're like these ancient like race of god beings that are like reincarnations of other gods, and it's just gotten weird. It's like those animes where you have this cool little contained story, and then after you watch the anime, you go, oh, I'll read the manga. And then you read the manga, and then it like opens up this can of worms into this like whole new like systems of it's like of like governments and whole new systems of like enemies and places to explore, and it just gets very silly and very convoluted very fast, to the point where you basically lose every sense of like the initial interesting contained story that was before. And I don't know, I don't like it.
I feel you.
I just want to be stealthy and stab people. Is that too much to ask?
Yes.
That's all I want.
Yes.
I don't need any of this. But back to the like initial like point is I feel that Ubisoft that the investors got a little skittish and risk averse, because that's how shareholders are. They want number to go up only, and up dramatically only. So whenever there's something that like gets a little pissy, they immediately run for the hills, because they don't want to risk their like infinite money glitch. They just want it. They just want to be able to just make money safely. And I feel like this is them being a little cowardly and not taking a risk that should have been a really, really cool concept, and frankly, a sure thing to sell well.
I feel like the problem is that more so they were winning awards and getting praised and stuff, especially because Odyssey won so many Game of the Year awards too.
I don't remember that, but that makes sense, And also, let's be completely honest, and I think this too. Both sides of this cringe little culture war would have used that game as like leverage to
of course
sell their apathy to people.
Yeah, I mean, you saw it with a game like South of Midnight that came out this year. Like it was the like Chud Central. It was like, oh my god,
she's picking cotton, Carl.
Ugh. I got so mad at those people. It's like you can't even. No, we're not going to get into it. But like they also had the opposite side, where they're like, oh my god, it's a good struggle session for trauma and stuff like that and everything else. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, people. Like the game was good to like okay. In a lot of areas. Like I want to see more of that universe, because I think there's a solid foundation. And I think it had like probably I think if you ask me right now, like the best soundtrack this year wouldn't go to Expedition 33. It would go to South of Midnight easily for me.
I'm sorry. I disagree wholeheartedly. I think Expedition 33's soundtrack is mind-blowing.
I'll counterpoint here. Have you played South of Midnight?
I have not. I have not.
Have you listened to the soundtrack?
I have not.
Go listen to the South of Midnight soundtrack and then consider it. I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but you can listen to the whole soundtrack on
like maybe YouTube. I will, but I will probably tell you how this is probably going to go. I'll probably tell you that the soundtrack is very good, but my stance will most likely not move.
I don't mind it. I just would say the only thing that bothers me is when you haven't heard the other one. It's like I understand it's a good soundtrack. I agree.
The reason for it is because soundtracks are not my thing. Like I've never particularly cared all that much about soundtracks. Because I've always felt it's more of a enhancer more than a standout.
Oh, you and I are gonna really disagree on that one then.
Because it's more like because I'm very gameplay focused and very story focused, and I'm more interested in how the music kind of affects how you feel about the gameplay and the story more so than on its own, because I'm not super big into music. It's just never been an art form that interests me as much as others. But with Expedition 33, it actually made me stop a lot of the times and actually listen to the music. And it's one of the few times where what the fuck are you doing, by the way? I keep hearing like what sounds like scissors.
Oh, sorry. I was twirling something. I'll stop.
Okay,
I wasn't picking up on my mic, I thought. So
I just wanted to know what it was. That's all.
No,
but
I just had something metal.
It's one of the few times where I've actually, like the soundtrack has actually moved me emotionally and has stuck out to me. I don't fucking care what you say. But that's why this one in particular stuck out to me. And it's one of those, I can actually listen to this on its own. Like, and it's its own real art piece that fits so well into the game and becomes a true part of the experience for me, as opposed to most other games where it just feels like an enhancement piece more than anything.
I just think sound design is very important nowadays.
It is, but when it comes to like soundtrack on its own, as opposed to like soundtrack plus sound design, all that thing, all like as it's kind of like its amalgamation, I've never really particularly focused on it. Whereas this one kind of forced me to focus on it, and I was blown away by it.
I would say if you ever played South of Midnight, the music is actually integral to the story and everything. On top of that, too,
which makes me feel like I need to play the game more so than listening to the music on its own.
It's a little bit of both.
That's the case.
It's a little bit of both. Like, how can I say this? They do a really good job with the sound design in this game to capture the sounds of the South, like the actual ambiance of like, you're from the South, so you know what I'm talking about. Like,
I am not from the South.
You are currently from the South. Shut up. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, but
no. You understand what I'm saying. Don't you
no,
dare.
I
don't you dare. You go outside.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. You go outside. Stop it.
That's
Stop
a stretch,
it.
but yes.
Stop it. Listen, I didn't grow up in the South, but I know what it's like to be in the South. You know what I mean?
You underestimate how New York centric New Yorkers are.
No, I underestimate how autistic you are sometimes. Sometimes I give you the benefit of the doubt, and I shouldn't.
That's glass houses, dude. Glass houses.
I don't care. I'm aware. You have a fun brand of autism. I just go like, oh yeah, you are a normal person most of the time, and then you're like, no, I'm not. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, fair enough.
No, but like I'm saying, like you can listen to that soundtrack and it will be really good.
I'll probably love it. I'm just not. I'm just very skeptical that it'll move me enough to take its spot.
The thing is, like, I don't think I can move you enough, but I think, generally speaking, I think it is just a better overall sound design than Expedition 33. That's just my opinion, and there's nothing wrong with it.
No,
outside of that,
there's nothing wrong with it. Like, I know me, and I'm stubborn, and I highly doubt that something is going to move me enough to, like, like cement itself in that number one spot. Especially from a game that I am very close to actually putting in my top 10.
That's fair enough. I'm just saying overall, I'm just saying in terms of my opinion. That's all.
Yeah. I'll definitely give it a shot.
But I forgot what I was going to say now. My whole got a little derailed there. Yeah, we're just going to move on.
Fair enough.
Share this tab instead. Here we go. Next up,
mostly it's very sad that they canceled it. They should have done it.
Yes, I agree. It would have been interesting. But moving on here, Fallout Day is coming up October 23rd. So,
There's a Fallout Day?
Yeah, there's always a Fallout Day. Just like there's always a Last of Us Day.
I keep telling you I live under a rock.
It's not just you, bro. Trust me. It's not just you.
I had no idea that this was a thing.
Yeah, I think they showed off a couple Fallout trailers last year for this, but right now, they said for this one, obviously they're going to have updates to current games, so probably a Fallout 76 expansion, probably some more, another trailer for Fallout Season 2, and then a lot of people are saying maybe we're going to get that Fallout 3 remaster as well announced here as well.
Did you watch the first season on Fallout?
I got halfway through it and I got distracted. I'm gonna go back and try to rewatch those because I actually enjoyed the first 3 episodes a lot.
So I liked it. If I looked at the story critically, it's not great, but the vibe of the show is fun.
It's Fallout.
It's and I can't remember the name of the actress who plays the main character. She does a fantastic job. Like,
oh, she's awesome.
She is,
she's hot. I also like her. She's my type.
Fair. But you would think somebody like what's his name, like Walter Goggins or something.
Walter Goggins is the ghoul, and
you
Ella
would think that he
Purnell
would be the center point of like people's love for the show. But I'm going to be honest. I think it's the main character. She is the foundation of the show.
Yeah,
like without her, the game isn't good. Not the game. The
game.
Show. Sorry, we've been talking about games for like the past 2 hours that my brain is just hardwired to say it. But without her, the show isn't worth watching.
I think that's just really good overall cast.
I did think that the Brotherhood of Steel was like the weakest part of the show. I was not a huge fan of that faction and how they were written in the show.
Right.
I wanted kind of more of it, but like, I don't know. Sometimes it just felt kind of silly.
Yeah, but that's Fallout.
Yeah.
It's kind of Fall has always been silly.
But like there, it felt less Fallout silly and more kind of like cringy Marvel humor kind of deal.
I guess
at certain points, not all the time, but I want more of the same, but I also don't want them to ruin New Vegas because New Vegas was very fun. So I think the lore changes that they made in the show was cringe and retarded, but it's whatever. I'm more interested in the characters than the background lore.
I'm not too worried about. I don't really consider Fallout to have like super strong lore, to be honest with you.
Well, it's
there's like a foundation, and then after that, it just feels like.
Well, it's more loose. I liked the original one, like the original lore better, which was the the war with the Chinese led to a nuclear Armageddon.
Yeah,
and the Vault Tech Corporation utilizing the vaults for human experimentation because they're mustache twirling Saturday morning cartoon villains, as opposed to the Fallout show, which was, cringy, more modernist takes on like late stage capitalism, as they call it, with, business owners doing the stupidest thing possible, which is, wiping out 90% of like the human population and losing like 100% of their customer base kind of deal.
Right.
And assuming that the economy will immediately like recover when they when they're unfrozen and everything, and prepping the world for their basic like fiefdoms. And it was goofy to me, like that whole thing.
That sounds like Fallout, though. Sounds like a Fallout plotline.
I don't know.
It sounds
like,
goofy.
It sounds goofy as shit, and it sounds like something like the like, you know, like big corpo people would do as opportunist in that world, but like deliberately planning for it just seems really silly to me. It's a small bed bug because I basically ignore it because, again, you know me, I'm more character focused.
Right.
And as long as the character interactions and the character growths are good, I can basically ignore, you know, the overall plot lines. It's like how I deal with Danganronpa, like those games. You know, I love the character interactions. The overall plot lines of those games are fucking garbage. So I just ignore it.
I go with it from my point of view of how I always put out there. If a game lets you have multiple choices and do whatever you want, there's no real established canon, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
That's just what I mean. It's like if you can choose,
I get it. Like that's not always true because, you know, the creators choose what the canon is.
I get that, but I'm just saying, and if they give me like the toys and the
what
tools,
you're saying is you can basically ignore it.
Yeah, it's like if they give me the toys and the tools to make my own story in their preconceived storylines that they all wrote out, then everything's canon after a certain point in time. If you really want to think about it that way, it's not like, say for something like Harry Potter.
Way, but I get what you're saying.
Well, it's not like Harry Potter or something like that, you know?
Fair enough.
Where it's like it's just one storyline and you can't really change it too much, even though like J.K. Rowling can retcon stuff every now and then, you know?
Yeah, but it's, you know, it's like I don't see it the way that you do, but I get where you're coming from.
Okay, then. Let's get into the final topic then for tonight.
You said there was a Fallout 3 remaster coming?
That
possibly?
Allegedly. That's what's been rumored for a long time.
Like a remaster or a remake?
Along the lines of Oblivion.
It works for me because I want more Fallout 3. Hopefully we can have less of a controversy as to whether or not the physical edition has the game on the disc, because that controversy was just weird.
The game's on the disc. It's just DLC.
Yeah, well, for the longest time, everyone was just like trying to answer that question, and there was like no transparency for like days, and it was just strange. Because the cover art kept changing, you know, to like have more like little requirements or little pieces of knowledge that may or may not be the case. It was kind of silly.
Yeah, no, you are correct about that. All right. So this one I feel like is a perfect subject for you to share on this one over here.
What does this mean?
So Matt Piscatella over here, who went to the website of Pedophiles and Racists, he's kind of the guy who keeps track of stats in the video game industry and stuff like that. And one of the ones that's kind of popped up here is, according to Criterion, Q3 2025 future of gaming, only 4% of U.S. video game players buy a new game more often than once per month, with a third of players not buying any games at all. And if we bring up the chart over here, it says 4% more often than once a month, 10% about once a month, 22% about every 3 months, 18% every 6 months, 12 once a year, and 33 less often than once a year. So I guess you are the kind of guy that you always say, like, you're not going to go out there and buy games brand new, usually because of, you know, reasons or that. But could you give like a perspective of where you fall into this chart here?
Oh, I can guarantee you I fall into this 30% here that's like about once every 6 months to about once a year. when it comes to like we're talking about new games. We're talking probably like are we talking about just new from GameStop? Like, oh, I'm paying full price for this. Or
Yeah, let's just go with
are
full
we
price
talking
here.
about like day one or within the first week?
Full price. Let's just say full price.
If we're talking about full price, I'm usually within about once every 6 months to about once a year. And for me, that's because I'm incredibly cost conscious. And it's not because, oh, well, I don't want to pay, like, I don't believe I should have to pay $60 or $70 or $80 for a game, you know, when I can just buy it on Steam for like 90% off or whatever. Or, you know, one of those people who's like, oh yeah, like games should be free, so I'm just going to pirate it. Like, I'm not one of those people.
Hate those people so much.
I'm very much, because I have a lot of bills. I, you know, and I work a lot, but I'm very, you know, you and I are pretty much the same. We are, we're game collectors, but as you would admit, we have very differing strategies on how to grow our collection. Like, you will actively search for games that you want and you will pay what you feel is fair. For me, I have a limit on what I'm kind of willing to pay for certain games, and I very rarely venture outside of that limit, and I tend to buy more in bulk than I do directly targeting certain games. Like, I live and die by the, you know, the as they are right now, the pick like 4 for 20 or pick 4 for 40 that GameStop does every so often, where I tend to grow my collection that way. And with my collection growing in that manner, I have less of an incentive to buy new games because I have a huge backlog of games. I have a huge Steam library. I already have more content that I could probably consume in my lifetime. So I don't see the point in buying new games consistently unless the game like truly blows me away. Like this year is like the first time in a while where I've actually bought more than one like new game full price. That's because I bought Expedition 33 full price and I bought Silent Hill F full price. You know, so I'm right this year, I'm probably in the 18 or 22% in the middle right there. But if for a lot of people, it's, you know, it's, I already have a lot of games that I have in my backlog, or it's, I have very little time to play games at all because I have a job, I have kids, I have a wife. Like those are the people that are playing games mostly, and they're like, all I want is, you know, a game like Madden or a game like, you know, Call of Duty, and I don't need, you know, and I don't need to buy so many games in a year to get my dopamine hit. I just need something that I think is fun, and I get as much cost benefit out of it by running it into the ground with the number of hours. Because you, like, as we talked about like last time when I was on the show, you know, kind of the idea of, you know, like the advertised value of Game Pass versus what people are probably actually utilizing. Because, you know, most people usually only play like maybe at the most 3 games a year, you know, or buy 3 games a year. That's probably what I was predicting. This seems to be even less. So it's for a lot of people, it's time and money. It's you know, I have a set amount of budget for a game, for games a year, and enough time. So I want to get games that I know are going to be good, or I know and I'm comfortable with. And with the popularity of Steam giving people massive discounts for games, there isn't a reason to pay full price for games anymore for a lot of people, especially people like me who are very cost conscious.
I feel like this argument is an interesting one because people go like, I saw this a lot on Twitter because there's been a lot of, people going insane, as we talked about last week, with like a $10 increase to the Game Pass Ultimate subscription price.
I mean some of the annoyance is justified, but I get what you're talking about, like the absurd fervor towards it.
I feel like with some stuff online, like there is a over the top kind of reaction, and that's just because when people are content creators and they got to justify that blue check mark and stuff like that, it tends to feel a little more heavy-handed than it should be,
Yeah, and it's also it's this, once you start paying a certain price for so long and the price goes up, you feel entitled to the lower price.
Mm-hmm.
Even if even if like the model as it is unsustainable.
Well, like you just said, though, here let's just be honest here. Like a lot of things that you said, there's like always the excuse. Well, I could buy these games for cheap on Steam when they go on sale, but the caveat is most of the time I have to wait years upon years. If I want to play some of these games for a cheap price. Or like the other thing that I see is, like you said, is the people who quote unquote game preserve.
I hate when people utilize that argument to justify their silly behavior.
Yeah,
I actually care about game preservation. Most people are just saying it because they don't want I don't really know where people are. I'm going to be honest. It feels like they're just lashing out at somebody sometimes.
It's the old your problem isn't with me, it's with your dad kind of argument. I feel like sometimes, as Malice would say. But I had like the one where it's like the guy goes like, "Oh, I just want to make sure I get what I own," and then but it's like, but you also say you don't buy video games, like you just pirate them. So like your argument already is like kind of flawed because you just refuse to buy and support these devs. Like you want to like be outraged about ownership, but your whole thing is like you don't pay for anything. That's not ownership,
Yeah, it's like the people. It's for a lot of people, it's very much you want to have your cake and eat it too, where they decry video, the decline of video game ownership and the death of physical media, but they claim to be a part of the PC master race and only buy games on Steam. And I'm like, does anybody not realize that you don't own your games on Steam?
Well, I feel like, to me, and this comes back to what I always say to people, as soon as like PC players completely abandon physical gaming, like their ownership died. Once everything went all digital, ownership died. Let's just be honest here. Even the people who like really suck off GOG, it's still digital, man.
Here's my thing is I'll give GOG a little bit credit because game preservation, as I've said, and as most people say, and I believe as you said before, it's not just about physical media.
Mm-hmm.
It's about it's about preserving, like, hey, you can't take this from me if you just decide to, because as like we've seen that with certain like internet movie providers where they've just gone, yeah, this thing that you bought, you can't own it anymore. And it's not, oh, we've taken it off the download the store, and if you delete it, you'll lose it forever. It's no, we removed it from your library, so even though you bought it, you don't have it anymore.
Yeah, and that I get.
And GOG doesn't have the DRM thing on it where it's tied to GOG. It's once you buy it and you download it, it's pretty much forever yours.
Right, but like I said, when it's all digital, like that's still, it doesn't matter. If something just randomly happens and you don't have it downloaded, like say GOG, for example, gets nuked,
mm-hmm.
and there's just no way like for you to get that information, and you didn't download it in time properly, even if you still have that license, like it's only a matter of time before something will fail. You know, it's like the people who had like Bitcoin on a hard drive and then it's just gone, you know?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I guess you could say the same thing about physical media, because it's like, oh, your disc could rot or your cartridge could break. It's there's risk to ownership and there's risk to preservation. And that's why I believe both avenues are important, and and why like the preservation, like the 3-2-1 rule, for backing up your data is incredibly important. It's a touchy subject for a lot of people, but the problem that I see with people who are not us and complain about ownership but buy everything on Steam is that they kind of don't realize that they're part of the problem and not really part of the solution.
Yeah.
And when you suggest to them, well, maybe you should buy more games on GOG or you should buy more physical media, and they look at you and go, why the fuck would I do that?
Yeah, that's the problem I have with PC players all the time. It's when they talk about physical media, and I'm like, but you play exclusively on PC.
Yeah.
It's like you murdered somebody and then you're showing up to the funeral like, how could we have avoided this?
Yeah, it's always a problem. And I do like how physical media hasn't died yet, and that there's enough people who care about it to keep it going, even if it becomes like a super niche product, with things like the Evercade or other like smaller like console and physical game manufacturers and companies like Limited Run Games, despite all of my issues with them. I love the fact that there are people who are actually doing preservation. But I do kind of get annoyed with people who cry about it, and and then there's the people who emulate old games and they go, oh, I'm doing this for game preservation. It's like, no, you're doing this because you want to play this game without paying for it. Like it's like, look, fine, that's perfectly fine if nobody's selling it, but I just don't like it when you're not honest with me, because I know what you're about, because it's I don't download ROMs of games that I don't own. That's a particular bed bug of mine. I've only broken it like 2, maybe 3 times out of all of the games that I've downloaded ROMs for. But I don't download these ROMs to be this crusader for game preservation. I do it because it's more convenient than plugging in, my game console for streaming purposes. It's, and I'm honest about that. It's, I just want more honesty from people who discuss these topics, because unfortunately I don't see a lot of honesty going around with this. But in turn, bringing it back to like game purchasing frequency, it's just, there's so many ways to get games like quote unquote used or quote unquote at a discount, that buying full priced games for a lot of people just doesn't make sense anymore, unless it's something that you very much want to support, like if, for example, Expedition 33's like being essentially a passion project for ex Ubisoft developers, or for like our case, you know, things like the Persona series. Like we'll buy that day one because we love that series and we trust Atlas most of the time anyway to make quality content. You know, every once in a while they have duds. You know, but it's outside of those, it's a lot of people just don't find it justifiable anymore because they can wait, especially with game prices increasing from $60 to $70 or sometimes to $80, you know, depending on whatever. It's people go, I can barely afford groceries right now. Like, why would I spend an extra $10 on something I don't need right now when I can wait and it'll still be there and I can buy it later at a cheaper price?
Right. No, you're right about that. Like, I don't mind buying a brand new game when I can. I also like buying games on sale. There's also the thing where it's like I'll play a game on Game Pass, like it, and buy it right away because I don't need to wait to find out if I like it or not, just to add it to my physical collection.
Yeah.
I also like just talking about video games. And I think for me particularly, it's not so much like I probably fall into the 4 to 10%, like this 14% range the most out of everyone here.
I feel like you would I thought you would more or less be in the 10 and 22% because if you think about it, that 4%, that's a fuckload of money, like a month. That's at minimum. If we're under the assumption,
oh, you know what? I guess we'll go because this is for a new video game.
Yeah,
but I buy more than just new video games though.
Yeah, if we're talking about just new full priced games, that's like on average like $140 a month. That's a lot. That's a lot of money per month for new video games, and that's just two. Like I'm working under the assumption that you, even if you pay a little bit more than that, you're probably getting 3 to 6 games a month. At minimum. So,
well, it all depends too, because it depends on what type of game I get. As you know, I'm also the kind of guy that would go out and buy a old retro game for like $300. You know?
Yes, I've only never done that like twice. That
like
it hurts.
Like right now, I'm in the middle of like maybe doing that with another game. You know, I'm haggling with someone right now, but I also like the art of a good deal, I guess you could say. You know, that's the gypsy in me, I guess. But generally speaking, a lot of things is what it comes down to for me personally. I'm also a gamer who doesn't have like one solitary game he likes to play, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's really what it comes down to, where it's like a lot of people probably out there, like what games are they really playing? Like Madden, FIFA, Call of Duty, you know, like what are the games they're playing, you know?
They play the most popular things, like the things that sell the most, because that's just literal statistics. Like the thing that kind of like tends to be a little of a bit of a culture shock for people like you and I, like, you know, again, as I said before, like with the Game Pass stuff, is that we're a minority of a minority in the gaming community, where the vast majority of people just play games casually and play, you know, the bog standard video games like Madden, Call of Duty, Battlefield, you know, those things. They play those or Minecraft. That they don't get into the weeds and buy you know, that fucking weeb game that you showed off earlier. Like they don't even know what that is. I don't even know what that is. You know, you know, they don't have extensive video game collections. They, you know, they buy a couple of things every year. They buy like a, you know, again, like sports games and shooters, and maybe an RPG if it's super popular, and they probably don't finish it. And then once a new console comes out, they trade all of those in, and they trade in their console, and they get the news thing. You know, that's how the vast majority of people consume gaming. They don't do what we do. So a lot of the times it's hard to take your experience bias and put it aside and kind of analyze it from like a greater population perspective.
Yeah. That's true. And another thing too is just from doing the show, it's hard to find people who have like a physical collection and want to do stuff like that too. Because like I said, not everyone plays the same way as us too.
Not everybody has the space for it.
That is also true. It was one of the big reasons why the original Xbox was not looked kindly upon in Japan because of its size as well. And I think we even brought that up before.
Meaty boy.
Yeah, we brought that up before too, about like how internet speeds are better in cities, and cities have like, cubicle apartments, so you can't really do what we do,
Yeah, it's they have like $4,000 a month, like 10 square foot closets that smell like spoiled milk and homeless people.
Yeah. Can I just saw this pop up on my feed and I thought this was funny. Can I share this with you?
It's your show, you schmuck. Like it's like you can do what you want.
Oh shit! Why did that go away? Let me share the screen real quick here.
Acting like you need my permission to do things.
But yeah, this made me laugh though. Bashir al-Assad now lives quietly in a luxury tower in Moscow, reportedly addicted to spending long hours playing online video games. It just popped up, and I don't know why.
The most random video game news.
This is like the most random video game news I had to share here. I don't know where this came from. I just think it's kind of funny, Guy who was ousted out of his country now just plays video games all day.
Ex-Syrian politician addicted to video games, more at 11.
Yeah, look at this guy. This guy is calling you the N-word on Call of Duty right now.
I would laugh my ass off if I got fucking called the N-word by a famous like ex-world leader. Is he still like he was ousted, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm again, as I told you, I don't really watch the news anymore.
I don't blame you. It's all fucking trash.
Yeah, that's why I didn't know if he was like still in power or just in exile, or if he had been fully ousted.
Yeah, he's fully ousted. So like, yeah, I don't know. I just thought this was funny because it just popped up on my feed right when I was getting ready to click off.
I'm going to be honest, being called the N-word by him is probably less insulting than being called gay by like a 12-year-old British kid.
Yeah,
I don't know. That bothers me. Like when that happens, I get angry, and I'm like, I need to beat this kid.
We need to know what is Al-Assad's like top video game. What is his game of the year? Mr. Bashir, what is your game of the year for 2025? That's the journalism that we actually need now, Like we need to get on the ground in Moscow to find out what this guy's game of the year is. Come on, gaming press, do it.
That would probably be the most interesting thing that the gaming press would do in like years, because it's like gaming like press is really depressing. I'm just gonna say that because the vast majority of like the mainstream outlets are either just political mouthpieces and they're dying, or they're just dying. And it's really sad because it's like, do I like the more decentralized like way of like content production? I think that that's pretty cool. But the problem is that, with that also comes, the grifters and the retards and, the people who use, to use games as like vehicles for their surface level political opinions on
Yeah.
both sides. And I'm not going to dunk on just the left for this one. The right does this too.
Oh yeah.
The amount of culture war people on the supposed, kind of like internet right kind of really, it just bores me with how much like how much they like repeat each other verbatim. As I've told you before, and I've probably said on this show, like I compare them to parrots, because if you've seen one video, you've seen all of them.
Yes, that is very true.
Because it's the same thing. It's like they're either on face cam in like the bottom left corner, or they're this stream avatar like we are right now that does like the little sound wave shit, and they're posting an article and pretty much reading it either verbatim or heavily paraphrasing it, and then they talk about everything is woke and garbage, and the lesbians are taking over,
the troons,
putting Subarus in every game that they have.
My wife drives a Subaru. How dare you?
Sure. It's exhausting, and I don't like apathy merchants on either side, because it's just like you're making people miserable. And I think it's important to talk about, when people throw their politics into like games, or they forcefully do things in media that's designed to make statements, and it's obnoxious, and it doesn't, and obviously, especially when it doesn't make sense within like the world that they've created, and it's, like what they did, like, for example, what they did with Spider-Man 2, like that's one of your like big bed bugs, is what they did to Spider-Man 2. Talking about that stuff is important, but the problem is that they try to find it in everything, to the point where every time I see like the comments section on it, like on like a new game, and it's like, is it woke? And it's like, it's so obnoxious.
Play the game and decide for yourself.
Or wait till the reviews come out, and if it's like, oh, it might be good, like the amount of times I heard people say, oh, Alan Wake 2 is woke garbage. I'm like, I don't believe you.
Well,
and then I played it. Is it woke garbage? No. Is it good? I don't believe so. And that's where Carl and I disagree on that. Like,
well, I would counter with,
you liked it. I thought it was less than stellar. I didn't think it was bad, but I wanted something it wasn't giving me. That's my issue.
My counter argument for everything here is just very simple. Just to save us another 30 minutes of time, just decide for yourself. All right. There's nothing wrong with looking at something and going, I'm not interested in it, and then not having to have 7,000 diatribe takes about it. And to be honest with you, that's because probably 99% of you are normal people who have a regular job, and you don't have to say the world is ending every 25 minutes,
Or that we're winning the culture war because one movie did bad.
Or we're losing the culture war because there was a gay in a cartoon from 2022.
It's listen to disparate opinions, like listen to people who liked things and people who hated it, and like figure out what they like. If you want to make like an informed purchase or an informed viewing, just like pay attention to what a couple of people are saying, and then kind of make a decision for yourself. Or watch somebody play it and pay attention to how like the game actually presents itself.
Art is subjective. Let's just be honest about that here. Video game is an art form, just like movies, just like paintings, just like music. Everyone will have something that is their style. Everyone will have something that's their taste. And I would say that just kind of go with your gut. At the end of the day, I feel like there's always these little problems here where it's just like, if you're interested in something, try it out. Most likely you will like it. I would say try not to have too many visions of grandeur in your head about a project. just try to be like, does this interest me? And kind of try to keep yourself in the dark about some of the stuff as much as you can. Because I do feel like some of it too is a lot of people will make something in their head for months of anticipation, and that also will let them down too, because they get a little too overhyped about something, or they let unnecessary hatred get in their way, and it ruins their critique and stuff like that. Because I think like Asmongold, ironically had like a good take today where he was like, I can judge a game for how the game is and also judge the studio for their actions as well,
Oh yeah, and like what you were just talking about is basically it's like marketing by proxy, where like the fans of the product take it and run with it, and basically like hype it up so much to where it becomes like this bastardized game of telephone, and like they start saying things that like even the developers or publishers didn't even promise. Kind of like how No Man's Sky and Cyberpunk, like their marketing was almost like a decentralized like fan uproar, and then
Yes.
games released and then they're like, we've been betrayed. It's like, well, a lot of the stuff like those developers can be blamed for, but a lot of it is you kind of started believing your own hype there.
Yeah. It's a
and
perfect storm.
yeah, it's for me, it's like the moral of the story is that if you're worried about people inserting your like agendas into your games, and you don't like, and you don't like that, it's more about like make informed decisions on your purchases and support content that is good. Like, you don't need to support content that adheres to your political beliefs. I think that's kind of cringe. I think you need to support content that's good, like stuff. It can have your political opinions in it. It can have other people's political opinions in it, or it can be just dumb, stupid, fucking fun. Not everything has to be world-breaking philosophical discussions about the nature of the soul or the nature of creation or whatever. Like with things like Expedition 33 like did in some of its thematic elements. Sometimes you can just have a game like Yakuza that's a fucking Yakuza soap opera with cringy karaoke themes and silly dance moves and a big muscular man who wears a woman's dress and absolutely shit stomps you when you try to take her properties from her. It's like it's like, just do what you want and the world would be a much better place.
Yeah,
that's simple.
Just don't be the meme, basically.
Yeah, don't and we've all gotten caught up.
We all fall for it. It happens
in movements and get all caught up in like the hypes and stuff. It happens, but eventually you kind of just get tired of it all. Like, I don't know how many times I've gotten worked up about certain things, whether it's like culture, games, politics, or whatever. And then I just get so burnt out and I'm like, why the fuck did I worry about any of this at all?
Yes.
I have better things to do.
It is a cycle.
And it's just enjoy things. And if you don't like it, you can obviously discuss it. Like you saw me get tismy about Code Vein 2. But in the grand scheme of things, I'm not going to buy the game until it's probably like $10
or ever,
or ever for that matter. But that doesn't mean that I want the game to die and I want the game to fail. I want it to be exactly what the fans of that game or franchise at this point, what they wanted. And if they don't get it, that's a fault of the developers. If they get what they want and it still fails, that's unfortunately that's a fail in the marketing for not doing enough to attract people. It's one of those, just enjoy what you have, because a lot of the times, sometimes you can do everything right and still lose, and then sometimes you can just keep tripping over yourself and you still end up succeeding. So it's it just find the franchises and everything that you enjoy, and you also don't need to you don't need to justify yourself to other people if you bought something. Like, for example, I refuse to buy Space Marine 2 new because I don't want to support Games Workshop financially, because I think they're a shit company, filled with shitty business practices and shitty people who want to insert their politics into everything. And also nickel and dime people for subpar animations, and basically threaten YouTube animators and story content creators with potential lawsuits if they don't stop making fan animations, which are basically free advertising, and basically destroy an avenue for income streams for a lot of these people. Like, for example, the person who made If the Emperor Has a Text-to-Speech Device, he cannot make that series anymore out of fear of litigation from Games Workshop, even though it falls under parody law in the United States. And I don't want to give them any of my money, and I try my best not to. But I'm not going to judge Carl over here for buying and playing Space Marine 2, because he's not at fault for that shit. That's Games Workshop's problem.
Well, it's like what we saw with Hogwarts Legacy, and even recently with Ghosts of Yotei.
God, that whole Hogwarts Legacy fiasco, controversy and fiasco where so many people were trying to cancel people for buying a game, was so fucking stupid.
Yeah, it was. But that's just the thing. It's like, I saw people buying Ghost of Yotei, and it's like, I don't want to support these devs right now. But look, I'm not going to be those assholes who went on everyone's thing going like, you killing conservatives, just like, the weirdos were going like, you're killing trans people,
It's ridiculous. I don't want to support who is it? Sucker Punch? Was the one who made it?
Yeah.
For Ghost of Yotei.
Sony, they're my favorite Sony dev, and fuck, why? Yeah,
because it's like, I don't want to support people who hate me.
That's it. Yeah.
I don't want to do that. But am I going to judge somebody who's like, look, I don't agree with this person. I think they're a shit person, but I adored Ghost of Tsushima, so I want to buy and play Ghost of Yotei. I'm not going to look at them and go, you're a terrible person. How could you dance on the grave of Charlie Kirk by proxy? You're you need to boycott these people to show them that we don't tolerate this. I'm like, you're not on a crusade against the evils of the world,
right?
You are literally making an economic decision because a developer decided to be a shit communist piece of garbage.
Well, it's more than one dev. That was my biggest issue.
More than one dev who decided to be a miserable pile of shit, and basically a demon in human form who dances on the grave of a man who lost his life, who has 2 very young children who will now never grow up with memories of their father because some scumfuck decided to be a murdering piece of shit. But it's like, I'm not going to judge people for making those decisions because they want to play something fun. It's if you can tell them hey, that's cool and all, but also look at this thing over here. This developer has several employees who made these kinds of comments. So maybe in the future, think twice about possibly purchasing things for them until they change. And some people may go, hey, that's none of my business. I just want to play fun games. And that's their right. And then some people may go, I didn't know that. Whether or not I feel bad, damn it, Carl.
It's just popping up.
That's fantastic. But
this is what he plays all day, I guess.
Fantastic.
Oh,
But back to
sorry.
my point, they're just like, well, I still bought this game and I'm still going to enjoy it, but maybe in the future, I look at something and I go, have they changed? Have they apologized? And do those people still have their jobs? And if the answer is yes, they haven't changed, and yes, those people still have their jobs, I'm not going to buy their next game. It's important to have conversations with people as opposed to accusing them of being basically an enemy of yours, because sometimes it's just they don't know. Sometimes it's like, look, I work 10 to 12 hours a day. I want to come home and play a game I enjoy. I don't give a fuck about your political movements. I don't give a fuck about what they do. It's like, it's like I buy, it's like my fucking outdoor air conditioning unit is made by people who make like parts for Apache helicopters that bomb brown kids abroad. It's like I can't get up in arms about everything, and that's a perfectly valid, position to hold, because you can't boycott everything. A lot of these corporations are so fucking massive that they have their arms and everything. It's about allowing people to pick their targets, allow people to pick their battles and what they're willing to stand on principle on, and letting people be people, I think, is very important.
Well, we also, I guess, have some breaking news over here as well.
Oh boy, what we got?
This is for Metaphor ReFantasio.
And apparently Kiwami 3 is apparently having some controversy of itself as well.
Yeah.
According to Ando. I don't know what's going on there.
I don't know what's going on with that either. I just know some people are complaining about like the actor change stuff, but you got the guidebook edition, which gives you the digital base game, the essential digital strategy guide available in English.
How do you feel about this game?
I like it a lot, actually.
Every time I try to play it, I go, like, this is fun and all, but I feel like I want to play something else. Like, for some reason, I just can't get into it. And I think it's just because I'm so early into the game that there isn't a lot of buildup yet. And I haven't hit that kind of like critical mass to where I'm like, oh shit, I want to know what happens next. I'm still in that early stage of like, I'm kind of getting my feet wet and I just can't commit to it yet. Because
I think it's great. It does take a little bit to get going, but I think overall, it's a really good Atlas game. Tough as balls. Tough as balls.
Because I want it to be good. I don't want it to be like a Tokyo Mirage Sessions where I keep trying to get into it and I just can't.
No, it's better than that. Yeah, I just feel like the problem is this game also got hijacked by the weirdos.
I didn't see that.
No, I saw way too many retards around this game, and it kind of annoyed me. But
that tends to happen a lot with like Atlas games anyway, because there was some weird like Persona 5 controversies with like
controversies.
Yeah, and it's like, oh my god, it's like there's caricatures of gay people in it. It's like they're in it for like 2 seconds.
Yeah,
who cares?
I don't know. I feel like though this is where I kind of want to start ending this, because I got an early day tomorrow. I got to drive to Appleton, Wisconsin.
Oh yeah, I forgot you got stuff to do. Why would you want to go to Wisconsin of all places?
They give you the best deals on trade-ins.
Yeah. I guess they also have cheap gas too.
Well, my buddy wants to go up there to sell some stuff. And I live in the Chicagoland area, and I'm going to be frank, a lot of the prices for buying and selling are fucking trash.
Well, that's also like city taxes and fees and shit. That probably doesn't help anyway.
No, it does not help, but there's a place up in Appleton, Wisconsin I like to go. It's called Press Start Games. I not sponsored. I love that store a lot. Did
you bring
really
me to
people.
that when I visited?
Yeah, I took you there.
Which one was that? Was that the one where you like traded in a ton of stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. That's where I bought Batman Dark Tomorrow. Like that actually had the comic book in it. That was nice.
Yeah.
The game isn't nice at all, but I like the I like the comic book being in it. That was nice.
Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, that's where I want to end it. If you made it this far, please leave a like and comment down below. What do you think Mr. Bashar Al-Assad's Game of the Year is? Everyone, if you made it this far. I'm curious to see what that. And thank you, JM, for coming on. Really do appreciate it. Hope to see you on a few more times,
Maybe in the future.
Yes, for sure. Next week, I don't know what's going on next week. We got a lot of plans, but I do know that we got 2 shows lined up. Legacy Loading is going to be returning. I believe Yuji Naka, the guy who created Sonic. I'm trying to remember his name. We're going to be doing an episode on him, and we're going to be doing another episode on Pac-Man. And those will be posted as soon as I hammer out the guest time and date on Sunday. So be looking out for those. And we'll be probably back on Friday. I don't know if I will have another guest on or if it'll just be me solo. And we will talk more updates in gaming and so on and so forth. So with that being said, JM, thank you for coming by. And everyone, have yourself a great weekend. Have a good one.